Prayers.
Almighty God, who in your infinite wisdom and providential goodness have appointed the offices of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of humanity, we beseech you to look upon with the abundant favor these your servants, whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of such important trusts in this land. Let your blessing descend upon them here assembled, and grant that they may, as in your presence, treat and consider all matters that shall come under that deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the good of those whose interests you have committed to that church. Amen.
Item 2 on the order paper, communication from the chair.
Honourable members, I welcome you to this morning's sitting. Of course, we want to thank God for the shower this morning, although it also did our work, but the rain is also good for our country. I also want to congratulate the workers of Uganda who had their Labor Day celebrations on the 1st of May. I hope that by and by their working conditions will improve. There are no matters of national concern. Let us just go to item 3.
Item 3 on the order paper, statement by ministers. 3.1, on the laying of the host government agreement, tariff and transportation agreement, and shareholders agreement for the East Africa crude oil pipeline.
So, Minister? Not here. Next item.
3.2, the establishment of Cadiz courts and an enabling law as emphasized in Article 129 of the 1995 Constitution of the Republic of Uganda.
Honourable Attorney General.
Honourable Speaker, honourable members of Parliament, this statement is made in response to the urgent question relating to the process of the establishment of Cadiz courts and an enabling law envisaged under Article 129 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda. Right Honourable Speaker and members, Cadiz courts are provided for under Article 129, Clause 1 of the Constitution as follows. Clause 1, the judicial power of Uganda shall be exercised by courts of judicature, which shall consist of B, such subordinate courts as Parliament may by law establish, including Cadiz courts for marriage, divorce, inheritance of property, and guardianship as may be prescribed by Parliament. Originally, the provisions on Cadiz courts were contained in the Domestic Relations Bill, which was intended to deal generally with matters of marriage and divorce for all persons in Uganda. The Muslim community raised concerns that the Domestic Relations Bill may not sufficiently address issues unique to the Muslim faith. Right Honourable Speaker and members, as a result of the concerns of the Muslim faith, Cabinet under Cabinet Minute 425 approved the proposal for the introduction of Cadiz courts. Accordingly, the Domestic Relations Bill was split into the Marriage and Divorce Bill of 2003 and the Administration of Muslim Persons Property Bill. Subsequently, in 2010, Cabinet directed that the Administration of Muslims Personal Property Bill be renamed the Cadiz Courts Bill in order to accord with the provisions of Article 129 of the Constitution and other considerations such as the need to only recognize elaborate judicial processes and procedures provided in the Quran regarding key social issues such as marriage, divorce, inheritance, among others. This without attempting to rewrite the provisions of Cadi's Courts, the provisions in Cadi's Courts Bill. Cadi's Courts Bill 2012 was drafted to give effect to the directives of the Cabinet. Right Honorable Speaker and members, the reason the Cadi's Courts Bill 2012 has not been enacted is because of the ongoing consultations on the content of the Cadi's Courts Bill. The most recent consultations were held on the 25th day of November 2020 with the Muslim Center for Justice and Law. The Marriage and Divorce Bill is also undergoing similar consultations. Right Honorable Speaker and members, as soon as there is consensus on the content of the bill or both bills, the bill shall be submitted to Cabinet for approval and introduction in court. I beg to submit.
I don't know whether Honorable Saida Bumba is satisfied with the response. Where these are public forums? Okay. What is UDC? Information?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
What is that?
Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to thank the Attorney General for the information which has relayed to this House this morning. Right Honorable Speaker, much of the information was not known to the public. I don't know with whom they are consulting, because we are key stakeholders, members of Parliament, but who have not been privy to this consultation. And there are many other stakeholders, key stakeholders, the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council at Old Kampala, the Uganda Muslim Supreme Council at Chibuli, the Supreme Council at Nakasero. It really perturbs me that it has taken 12 years conducting consultations. And during all this time, people are suffering, who have problems of inheritance. When we got the Attorney General, the way they handle the Muslim inheritance is against their faith. So they end up in fights. There are people I know of a close friend who has been trying to dissolve a marriage for 30 years, but she has failed because of lack of these courts. And in the past, we are told that the courts couldn't be established because we didn't have qualified people to be judges in these courts. And today, we have more than enough. So really, I don't understand the reason for this long consultation. My prayer, Right Honorable Speaker, is for these consultations, whatever it takes to be expedited, so that people of Muslim faith are not denied justice. For all this time, we are denied justice regarding our marriages, regarding inheritance, and regarding other social issues. Right Honorable Speaker, it will not be fair for us to continue in this kind of situation. Can we have government expedite and also make an all-inclusive consultations so that some of the stakeholders are not left out? I thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Sabagan.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. The Honorable Speaker, the framers of the 1995 Constitution realized the importance of having special courts to handle a section of people. And that's why Article 129 was introduced for Cadi courts. It is now close to 20 years down the road. Madam Speaker, we are still talking about consultations. Madam Speaker, we had the Mohammedan law. Mohammedan law was meant to cater for the interests of Muslims, because we know that for us, whatever you can talk about, be it marriage, be it inheritance, be it whatever you can mention, is an act of worship, which is guided by Islamic teachings and sunnahs of Prophet Muhammad, may peace be upon him. Madam Speaker, it really beats my understanding that the consultations the minister is talking about, I've just heard about them from him. And of course, Honorable Said has talked about it. We know, Madam Speaker, that we had a lot of consultations when we wanted to introduce the Muslim personal law. Those are the consultations, and I think they're 10 years ago. But ever since then, and by that time, the chairperson of Law Reform Commission was the late Kakoza, where we had a lot of engagements. Madam Speaker, my humble request is that the government to understand us. Those who were in the 1995, the framers of the 1995 Constitution, realized after making various consultations that Muslims should have what we call Qadhi courts to address their pertinent issues. Madam Speaker, the minister has talked about Muslim Center for Justice and Law. There was no any consultation made by Muslim Center for Justice and Law. They only wrote the minister, by then was Honorable Kahindo Tafire. And there was just a simple response. Madam Speaker, there is unintended delay for these Qadhi courts to be operational. I'm requesting, Madam Speaker, through you, that let these consultations be expedited and let everybody be brought on board so that these courts can really start functioning, because we know that we have so many cases that can be ably handled, and those who are qualified to do so are readily available, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it's my humble request that Qadhi courts, since they have taken long time, since 1995, the government should really come out openly and ensure that the Muslims, in as far as the 1995 Constitution, Article 129 is concerned, should have the Qadhi courts to handle Islamic-related issues that cannot be handled by any other law, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Now, Attorney General, oh, but we don't. Huh? Okay, Honorable Gonzaga, then Honorable Bakero.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank the Attorney General for attempting to answer a very difficult question. And I want to give him a score that the Honorable Speaker, the Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General is saving us for a number of issues. At least he's always here to address issues that we are dealing with, the law issues and what have you. But Honorable Speaker, the clarification I want to seek from him, really the issues dealing with the Muslim faith, why do they take long to be responded to? When you talk about Islamic banking, they are crying. Now, this is a constitutional matter. It doesn't need any debate. Now, we have not gotten a commitment from the minister. Now, when you talk, once justice is delayed, is justice denied. The moment you don't have put up in place these Qadhi courts and the Pachapo who are supposed to run them, you are denying justice to that faith in their belief and the issues they want to handle in the court, right? No Speaker. I don't know. When you go to judiciary, the big Muslims who are being judges, they are kept there. They are not given attention. They are put back benches. They are not given that kind of power to run their offices as is intended to be done. But Attorney General, the best answer I would give here is a commitment, because this parliament has never got a bill. It has never been tabled. It is with you. So it's not a bill yet, because it has not come to parliament. Unless I would ask Honorable Saida, Honorable Latif and others, give us what you have. We bring a private member's bill, they will start fumbling. And that's how we shall manage them. But me, I'm still insisting and asking, why do you have procrastination on issues dealing with Muslims? I have Muslim relatives and I handle family issues with the Muslims. They have such problems and they need this solution. But now what the statement, Madam Speaker, has not answered what the member asked for. He has no assurance, but it's just moving around. We are trying consultations. Muslims have structures right from parish level, like Catholics, like Protestants, they have structures, and the districts, they have leadership. So where there is no consultation, who will you mislead giving this kind of information? So, Honorable Attorney General, thank you for the attempt and continue doing so. Maybe we will win that office in Forgia so that we stop suffering from absenteeism of those particular people who are supposed to be here. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Constitution of this country grants freedom of belonging to every Ugandan. And so the Attorney General, who is learned, is very much aware that the Muslims have a right to belong to Islam. And they also have a right to get what they want in terms of how the country governs them, or how the laws that are required to govern them. Now, the Honorable Attorney General has presented here that they are still consulting. Right, Honorable Speaker, I want to know from the Attorney General. You have consulted for over 12 years. You have not put before this House the list of stakeholders you have so far consulted. The Honorable Said Abumba, as one of the members of the Muslim community, expressed concern that the key stakeholders of Islam have not been consulted, the Supreme Council and so on. So would you like to table before this House to show commitment that the statement you have made here about consultations, that consultations have been going on and are still going on? So to prove that your statement is true, Right Honorable Speaker, I would like to request the Minister to table before this House. So far, the 12 years we have consulted so and so and so, or this list of stakeholders. Thank you.
Now, honourable members, we need to conclude.
Madam Speaker, the minister is very much aware that the card bill is talking about, and I don't know, I'm not sure whether it is a bill, because the processes of anything to be termed a bill are well known. But even what he has is only providing for marriage and divorce without considering other matters like inheritance as it is stipulated in 129, Madam Speaker. So it is even inadequate, even before the consultation is talking about. Madam Speaker, I request that if the government is really open and willing to ensure that clause 129 is operationalized, let these consultations be open and be extended to every stakeholder, so that we can tell the minister where we have some lacunas in as far as the intended card bill is concerned, so that we can spice it up and ensure that we bring a bill that can conform to what the framers of the 1995 Constitution really visioned, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. So, honourable members, Attorney General, I think you can see that the members are not satisfied. I think what the government is doing is in breach of Article 29 of the Constitution, provided as follows: protection of freedom of conscience, expression, movement, religion, assembly, and association. Article 29(1)(c) provides as follows: the freedom to practice any religion and manifest such practice, which shall include the right to belong to and participate in the practice of any religious body, organization in a manner consistent with the Constitution. So your delay to establish the Cadiz courts really is a breach of Article 29 of the Constitution. And no one is satisfied that you have actually consulted. So can you give us a time frame when the consultations will end?
Madam Speaker, under the operations of government, today is the last day of cabinet. It is not easy for me to give commitment because we are ending the term of office. But I'm very sure that government is committed to seeing this through and that it should be a matter of concern and it will be urgently attended to in the next coming term of office. That's all I can say. I beg to submit.
So Honorable Minister, can we just say that in your handover notes, we include this issue as something really outstanding?
In the event that I have to hand over, I will do so.
No, you have to hand over this tenure of the last government. Even if you're going to be the next minister, you hand over to yourself.
Most obliged.
Okay, thank you very much. Item 4.
Item 4 on the order paper, laying of papers. Laying of papers, reports of the Auditor General on the financial statements for the year ended 30th June 2020 for the following entities.
Bahati?
Madam Speaker, I beg to read all of them at a go and then I lay them at a go. Madam Speaker, I beg to lay the following reports from the Auditor General's office for the year ended June 30th June 2020. The Parliamentary Commission, State House, Ministry of Public Service, Judiciary, Uganda Police Force, Ministry of East African Affairs, National Citizenship and Immigration Control, Markets and Agricultural Trade Improvement Project under ADB loan, Agricultural Value Chain Improvement Development Program, Uganda Multi-Sector Food Security and Nutrition Project, Dairy Development Authority, Electoral Commission, Amnesty Commission, National Oil of Palm Project, and loan from ADB, the National Agriculture Advisory Services NADS, Uganda Law Reform Commission. That's the last one. Madam Speaker, I beg to.
Thank you very much, honour members. Items, the one Parliamentary Commission, Dairy Development Authority, Electoral Commission, Amnesty Commission, and Law Reform Commission will be set the Public Accounts Committee, Commission, Statutory Authorities and State Enterprises. The remainder will be set the Public Accounts Committee, Central Government for perusal and report back. Exciting.
Item 5 on the order paper, bill second reading, the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2021. Bills committee stage.
Honour members, I think we had asked the committee to harmonize or Minister of Finance, have you harmonized on this issue? You have not?
Madam Speaker, I've not physically met with the Honorable Mugade, but through his agents, I have been told that it's okay, the idea that has suggested on the 30%, we can concede and subject the expenses to verification by URA. So that's the position. The members who had moved the minority report, including the Honorable Saida Bumba, we have had the chat on that, and we are willing to have that common ground if they are okay with it, so that we move forward.
Honorable Saida?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm one of those who moved the majority report, but after consultations, we considered and accepted 30% flat for those properties in private names and for those in company names, because we realized that if you put up different rates, administration is going to be difficult. So we accepted, Right Honorable Speaker.
So you have moved from 60 to 70?
Yeah.
Okay. Honorable Ndugwa?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I actually didn't know that members who signed the minority report since then became my agents. I thought I was the chief agent, so I thought I was the right person. But Madam Speaker, I would have no problem with 30% if we are doing away with the other tax, because to remove the issue of double taxation, because there is the other tax of up to 12% by the under the Local Government Act, and that is the Rating Act, which provides for 12% rateable value. So I would have no problem if we are doing away with the other percentage of 12%, if the minister is comfortable with that. Because we are by talking about 30%, that will be about 15% of the gross. And you are talking about another 12%. So it takes you back to more than 20%. So what does the minister have to say as far as the other tax? Because all local government and Minister of and URA are all targeting the same building, and they're all targeting the same rent. And the whole rent, the whole tax is actually going to the same government. So are we doing away with the other tax? Then if it is so, I have no problem.
Okay, members, I'm not sure whether the minister is ready for this. Can we do the other one while you really look at this issue? How does it relate to the Ratings Act now? If you are going to tax them in the local government, then tax the same building in the income
Madam
tax.
Speaker, I think I need to convince the Honorable Migade that the issue in the bill, the current bill, is only handling the issues that you raised in the minority report. The other things you are talking about are not part of the bill at the moment. So we can only talk about the future when we are handling that. But for now, there's no clause relating to that.
Madam Speaker, the reason why we proposed 25 is because we knew that there is actually another tax burden under the Local Government Rating Act. That's why we're talking about 25%. And now that the minister is looking for a win-win position, because Madam Speaker, the president has come out to castigate some of these taxes. And there's a letter the president wrote to Honorable Tom Butimi in 2019, November 28th. And he said, I've been told that some district authorities have started efforts of collecting property taxes from rented houses in trading centers. Some are talking about 8% or thereabout. I do not support this because people who pay rent in those areas are not many. If somebody just put up a rented building in that area, let those local authorities not rush to collect taxes. Let them wait. So that is now the other tax
Now that the president was also uncomfortable with the other tax, why doesn't the minister accept that we do with that tax and we have this one?
Now, but now the minister to say we do with that tax here when the matter is not before the House, I think is a problem. Why don't we?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think the best way is within when you go to the committee stage, the drafting. In that section of 22 they are talking about of rental income. We can draft it in such a way that what has been consistent with the legislation laws, you can say notwithstanding any other law or relevant law. That's how it can be formulated so that it's catered for. So it could be a win-win situation, accommodating the president's thinking and also the minister's thinking and what's happened when you go to committee stage. We can amend that section in the formulation.
But I think we should have the proposals early enough before we go to committee stage.
So, but otherwise, if the minister is still interested to reduce the percentage you had proposed and you remain with the local government, honestly speaking, Madam Speaker, taxation is not speculation. Taxation is you provide evidence where you tax, where you don't have any loss, you pay. Where you have a loss, you don't pay. That's the principle. But because the country, as you know, that we're in problems, we're in COVID, that's why we who wrote the minority report, we said, okay, since some people are floating the law and there is enhancement of URA to have the capacity to audit, that's why the general principle was on 25% and we make it a cap of 25% gross. If somebody makes a loss, we tax it. Then 75%, that's allowable allowances. That's what, but if the minister in his concept is saying now with 30%, then with the formulation of section 22C will change and the right notwithstanding any other law, because all this money goes to consolidated fund. It will cater for the accommodation of the president, what he's talking about, and also the minister, what he wants to achieve. Thank you.
Madam Speaker, I think as you are trying to guide, what is before us is the income amendment bill. The point which they are raising is in the Local Governments Rating Act. So there are two separate laws. And as we have said, Madam Speaker, making changes here in another piece of legislation without the committee looking at it, it can be problematic without consulting and doing all the necessary information, rather studies. So, because even from what we know, there's nothing like double taxation at the moment. We can never do that. If there's any double taxation, we correct it. We don't have to be, we can never do that, double taxation. So we think that this act should be considered separately from the other acts which are not before us, Madam Speaker.
No, Honorable Minister, you know, what will the man in Kitgum who has been asked by the local government to pay the property rating tax, what will he do? Will he say this, I've paid this, so this law does not apply to me? I think, honourable members, we need to clearly come out on the implications of this income tax law on the Local Government Ratings Act before we take a decision. It's really important.
Madam Speaker, if I may inform the minister and with the letter of the president, what is happening in our rural areas is that the district leadership or the town clerks, they just look at someone who built a house with the doors that are similar with the shops. Whether they are sleeping in them, whether there's nobody, they say these are shops and they are supposed to pay property tax. But these houses in our places, they are even paying 10,000 per month. And they want money out of that. So I would pray that you know, this minority report, let us get a solution to this problem. Otherwise, what is happening in our places is not easy. Actually, Madam Speaker, me what I did one time, I think in 2018, I took local government to my area, Chamari Town Council, where they had this problem and they could not give a good solution because they were basing on the law on property tax.
Okay,
Thank you.
honourable members, again, let us, before this matter, I hope our technical people from the Ministry of Finance are here to sort out this issue properly before we go to committee stage.
Okay, Madam Speaker.
But we
we-
should finish it today.
Yeah, within a few minutes, maybe by the time we finish another
Okay,
law, another bill, we can.
okay. Income
Get a
tax amendment bill is deferred. Let us go to the next one.
Item 6 on the order paper, bill second reading, the Tobacco Control Amendment Bill 2021.
Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the Tobacco Control Amendment Bill 2021 be read the second time.
Is the motion seconded? Is the motion seconded? Okay, seconded. Minister, justified.
Yeah, Madam Speaker, it's a simple bill mainly to impose a tax on export of leaf tobacco. We have been having an issue where leaf tobacco has been exported without paying any tax. And this particular amendment is to cater for that issue in our existing laws so that we can address it and also mobilize resources to support the budget. I beg to move.
Thank you. I believe our committee has had an opportunity to look at the bill. Can we get a report? Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I stand here to give a report of the Committee of Finance, Planning and Economic Development on the Tobacco Control Amendment Bill 2021. Right Honorable Speaker, the Tobacco Control Amendment Bill 2021 was read for the first time on 1st April 2021 and referred to the Committee of Finance, Planning and Economic Development in accordance with Rule 128 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. The object of the bill is to amend the Tobacco Control Act 2015, Act 220F 2015 to impose an export levy on leaf tobacco. To save time, Madam Speaker, with your indulgence, I would leave methodology. It is as outlined. Members can read that.
Yes,
I'm
now moved to the committee observations. The committee observed that the Tobacco Control Bill 2021 is proposing a levy on leaf tobacco at a rate of United States dollars 0.8 per kilogram, which is exported outside Uganda. The objective of the proposal is to streamline the definition of unprocessed leaf tobacco under the Tobacco Control Act to provide clarity on what constitutes unprocessed tobacco. This is because the previous definition of unprocessed tobacco was limited in scope and therefore ambiguous. Firms such as British American Tobacco, BAT Uganda, have been exporting unprocessed tobacco leaf without payment of the export levy since 2015. BAT Uganda closed their manufacturing operations in Uganda in favor of Kenya and announced that they would no longer be purchasing and growing tobacco in Uganda, indicated that it would mostly concentrate on the sale of cigarettes, leaving the leaf growing business to another company, Alliance One International. The export of dry tobacco leaf attracts less value in the world market. This proposal, once approved, will enhance value addition where a kilogram of processed tobacco costs almost 5 times that of unprocessed tobacco. This will in turn create employment for Ugandans and the country foreign exchange and ultimately economic development. This measure is expected to generate revenue of Uganda shillings 20 billion.
Committee recommendations. The committee recommends that the Tobacco Control Amendment Bill 2021 be passed into law. I beg to submit.
Okay. Honourable members, you have heard the report from the Finance Committee. Are there any comments? Honourable Gonzaga? So,
Thank you, no speaker, and the chairperson of the committee. Right now, speaker, I just want to find out from the committee chairperson and the minister. You see, BAT took away their business from here and they established the factory in Kenya. Definitely, for us, we are fighting cigarette smoking in this country. However, when you go to Kenya and Tanzania, they are making a lot of profits. Now, I want to find out, already in Uganda, we still have people growing tobacco. West Nile is one of those areas. Won't this affect the export of this crop, this raw material? You should help us. Yes, you are going to generate 20 billion, but what's the income from our people? You might say, yes, you are going to charge them, because already for them, they have factories. Madam Speaker, they have put factories in Tanzania and Kenya, and they are doing business. For us here, we have a law against smoking, and actually we are fighting smoking and anything dealing with the cigarettes. Then there is something, there are certainly products you have left out among the plant, which have been named, Madam Speaker. I don't know if I can read them, but the chair knows those ones they have left out, but they are coming out from the same product, the crop, but they can be exported without taxation. So make us know, in case you charge this tax, won't there be a problem on these companies that have been buying raw tobacco from here? Because for us, our advantage is that this tobacco is taken and processed, and we are saved from the sin of smoking and being near smokers, which is okay for us. But once you tax it, what will come next? Just let me know that, and plus those other products out of the same plant that you have refused to be taxed, like the sticks you have talked about. Thank you, Ratno Speaker.
Honourable Chair, any other comments? Honourable Chair?
Madam Speaker, I want to thank the member for his concern. We deliberated in depth about the advantages and the disadvantages of levying this tax. And we consulted widely with different stakeholders, including the investors who are in this business, and they find no problem. As a committee, we don't see it impacting negatively on the export in any way. I thank you.
Okay, honourable members, if there are no other comments, put the question, that question be put. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Now put the question that Tobacco Control Amendment Bill 2021 be read for a second time. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. I have it.
The Tobacco Control Amendment Bill 2021, Bills Committee stage. Clause 1.
Honourable members, I put the question that clause 1 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. I have it.
Clause 2.
Members, put the question that clause 2 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. I have it.
Motion for the House to read the title.
Put the question that the title do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. I have it.
Motion for the House to resume.
No, Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the House do resume and the committee of the whole House reports thereto.
Now, members, the question is that the House do resume and the committee of the whole House do report thereto. Those in favor say aye, the contrary, no. Ayes have it.
Report from the committee of the whole House.
No, Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to report that the committee of the whole House has considered the bill entitled the Tobacco Control Amendment Bill 2021 and passed it without amendments.
Motion for adoption.
Motion for
Speaker.
adoption of the committee of the report from the committee of the whole House.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the report from the committee of the whole House be adopted.
Now, members, the question is that the report of the committee of the whole House be adopted. Those in favor say aye, the contrary, no. Ayes have it.
Bill third reading.
Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Tobacco Control Amendment Bill 2021 be read the third time and do pass.
Now, members, I put the question that the Tobacco Control Amendment Bill 2021 be read for the third time and do pass. Those in favor say aye, the contrary, no. Ayes have it.
A bill for an act entitled the Tobacco Control Amendment Act 2021.
Title settled and bill passes. Item 7.
Item 7, Bill second reading, the Tax Appeals Tribunal Amendment Bill 2021.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Tax Appeals Tribunal Amendment Bill 2021 be read the second time.
Was it seconded? Is the motion seconded? Yes, Minister, just try.
Madam Speaker, the object of this bill is amend the Tax Appeals Tribunal Act Cap 345, provide for right of appeal from decisions of the High Court to the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court to help in terms of deciding on the cases regarding taxation in a timely manner. And that is the reason why we are moving this amendment, and I beg to move.
Thank you. Can our committee report?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm here to present a report of the Committee of Finance, Planning and Economic Development on the Tax Tribunal Amendment Bill 2021. The Tax Appeals Tribunal Amendment Bill 2021 was read for the first time on the 1st of April 2021 and referred to the Committee of Finance, Planning and Economic Development in accordance with Rule 128 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. The object of the bill. The object of the bill is to amend the Tax Appeals Tribunal Act, Cap 345, to provide for the right of appeal from decisions of the High Court to the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court. I will again request with your indulgence, Madam Speaker, that I proceed to the committee recommendations and leave methodology. Committee observations. The committee observed that 1, Clause 2 proposes to amend Cap 345 of the Principal Act to provide for appeals to the Court of Appeal from decisions of the High Court and appeals to the Supreme Court from decisions of the Court of Appeal. These provisions were previously contained in the Income Tax Act and Value Added Tax Act, but were inadvertently repealed with the coming into force of the Tax Procedures Code Act, and the same were never replaced. It is noted that the proposed section 27A(2) and 28B(2) provides for an appeal to the Court of Appeal and subsequently to the Supreme Court on questions of law only. To be consistent with other legislations that deal with third appeals, the committee observes that appeals to the Supreme Court should be on questions of law and of great public importance. It was also noted that sometimes appeals may take a long time before they are disposed of, therefore disadvantaging the investor, and yet some business decisions are dependent on the outcome of the appeal. This calls for the need to provide for a time frame within which an appeal may be disposed of, preferably 90 days from the date of filing of the appeal. 2, Clause 3 proposes substitutes Section 28 of the Principal Act to state that where an application for review or appeal of a tax decision has been lodged with a reviewing body, the reviewing body may take an order staying or otherwise affecting the operation or implementation of the decision under review or appeal, or a part of the decision, as the reviewing body considers appropriate for the purposes of securing the effectiveness of the proceeding and determination of the application for review or appeal. Committee recommendations. The committee recommends that the Tax Appeals Tribunal Amendment Bill 2021 be passed into law, subject to the proposed amendments. I beg to submit.
Members, you have heard the report. Are there any comments? If there are none, I put the question, that the question be put. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. So return now with the question that the Tax Appeals Tribunal Amendment Bill 2021 be read for a second time. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Let's have it.
The Tax Appeals Tribunal Amendment Bill 2021, Bills Committee stage. Clause 1.
Members, I put the question that clause 1 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 2.
Clause 2, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. In clause 2, we have an amendment, and the amendment reads as follows. Amendment of Cap 345, clause 2 is amended. 1, by inserting a new subsection 3 immediately after the proposed section 27A2 as follows. 3, the Court of Appeal shall inquire and determine the appeal expeditiously and shall declare its findings not later than 90 days from the date of filing the appeal. I beg to submit.
But there are others. You have got other amendments. You have got other amendments.
There are others, Madam Speaker. Maybe the member should wait, I read all of them, then you can make your contribution. 2, by substituting for the proposed section 27B2, the following. 2, an appeal to the Supreme Court may be lodged with a certificate of the Court of Appeal that the matter raises questions of law of great public importance, or if the Supreme Court, in its overall duty to see that justice is done, considers that the appeal should be heard. 3, by inserting a new subsection 3 immediately after the proposed section 27B2, the following. 3, the Supreme Court shall inquire and determine the appeal expeditiously and shall declare its findings not later than 90 days from the date of filing the appeal. Justification. 1, to provide timeline within which the appeals in both the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court should be disposed of. And 2, to be consistent with the criteria set out in the Civil Procedure Act, Cap 71 for third appeals. Madam Speaker, those are the amendments and I beg to submit.
Honorable Songo.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And my area of concern here, I will ask you, Honorable both to give more on it. It's better than me in this. Madam Chair, we have gone to Court of Appeal, giving it 3 months to dispose of an appeal. Then still you are giving a Supreme Court another not later than 3 months. Those are 6 months. And Madam Chair, these are traders who have brought their goods and they want their matter to be disposed of as fast as possible because they must continue with business. So my discomfort is on the time given between the two courts, because you have said where there's public importance, it means not beyond a matter of law, but they have held my goods. I've gone to the tribunal, it has failed. Then I've gone to the High Court, it has failed. I've gone to the Court of Appeal, Supreme Court. Someone has goods in the bond for 6 months. I don't know, Madam Chair, how this can be possible. Either we reduce on the time of the Court of Appeal, and then you see how it can be disposed of. Of course, this is business, and they will be having multiple of cases in that form, having latches because of the law we are putting in place. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Honorable Chair, on the time frame.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, the original proposal did not give a timeline, but as a committee, we thought it wise that we should give a time frame within which these appeals should be considered. And that is the background why we came with 90 days. So I really don't know what.
No, it's not the question of the rationale. What the honorable member is questioning, you have given the Court of Appeal 90 days. Now, if somebody is dissatisfied after those 90 days, he'll go to the Supreme Court, who also have been given 90 days. Therefore, he may have to wait for a decision for 6 months. That's a concern of the honorable member. Does that encourage business? He's worried about the time frame.
And Madam Chair, if you go to the commercial court, you will see what takes place there. People are lining up with all these issues as if they are going for medical checkup. And business is not flourishing because even the judges are we need to work on this. And people are losing money. They are losing money, goods are depreciating, and that one is very key. This man has his containers. Honorable Hart is not mindful of that.
Okay, we are proposing 1 month, 2 months. What are you proposing?
Yeah, 1 month. 1 month.
For this final appeal?
Yeah, because this is business. Damage and what you must consider, you are the traders.
Madam Chair, as the Honorable Sengu said, in the absence of the shadow attorney, the Honorable, and absence of the Attorney General, the Honorable both is standing in both for all of us. So he should be ready to advise. But I think the point made by Honorable Sengu is very important. If we have given the courts of appeal 3 months, maybe if there's any complication, 1 month in the Supreme Court would suffice. And this will help both the business people, but also government in terms of you are able to dispose of these cases, because when they take long in these courts, we really suffer in terms of revenue collection. So I think 1 month, I would have no problem with that at the Supreme Court level, but 3 months at the courts of appeal so that they are given time to go through it. But Honorable boss is here to.
Right, Honorable Chair, I think what Honorable Sewungu is coming up with, and first we must thank the committee for the innovation to put a time frame. The factors affecting doing business in any country is the delay to resolve conflicts. This is a special matter, and applying the civil procedure rules strictly to this would only be to give the guidance. And I think 1 month at Supreme Court would be sufficient, but even at Court of Appeal should be reduced to 2 months.
Yeah.
So that you are an appeal, at appeal level, you don't need new evidence. It's just assessing, evaluating, you know, but I think 2 months at Court of Appeal and 1 month at Supreme Court, that would be fair. And it would give hope to the litigants. And I seek the indulgence of the minister, who is also a businessman, and this thing can apply to anybody doing business in this country. You want justice not to be delayed, to concede to this, you know, harmonization. I don't want to call it amendment.
Madam, now that our acting attorney in the house is is comfortable with this, I consider I have no problem with the 2 months at the Court of Appeal and then 1 month at the Supreme Court.
Okay, honour members, in the first amendment, the number 90 is reduced to 60 days. And then the last amendment, the number 90 is reduced to 30 days. Now, I now put the question that clause 2 be amended variously as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 2 as amended.
Put the question that clause 2 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 3.
Is there clause 3? Put the question that clause 3 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
The title.
With the question, the title do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Motion for the House to resume.
Honourable Minister.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that the House do resume and the committee of the whole House reports thereto.
Honourable members, the question that the House do resume and the committee of the whole House do report thereto. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Report from the committee of the whole House.
Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to report that the committee of the whole House has considered the Tax Appeals Tribunal Amendment Bill 2021 and passed it with amendments.
Adoption.
Motion for adoption of the report from the committee of the whole House.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the report from the committee of the whole House be adopted.
Honourable members, I put the question that the report of the committee of the whole House be adopted. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Bill third reading.
Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Tax Appeals Tribunal Amendment Bill 2021 be read the third time and do pass.
Honourable members, I put the question that the Tax Appeals Tribunal Amendment Bill 2021 be read for the third time and do pass. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
A bill for an act entitled the Tax Appeals Tribunal Amendment Act 2021.
Title settled and bill passes. Item 8.
Item 8, Bill second reading. The External Trade Amendment Bill 2021.
Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled External Trade Amendment Bill 2021 be read the second time.
Or is the motion seconded? Is the motion seconded? Okay, seconded. Justify.
Madam Speaker, this particular bill, the External Trade Amendment Bill 2021, is to look at to amend the External Trade Act Cap 28 to 88 to impose an export levy on the wheat bran, cotton cake, maize bran, or other byproducts of the milling industry to help government raise revenue. But also, as we do this, we are aware of people who are dealing with this particular products, and we are put it in such a way that will not harm their businesses. I beg to move.
Thank you. If our committee has considered the bill, can they report?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. I present the report of the Committee of Finance, Planning and Economic Development on the External Trade Amendment Bill 2021. The External Trade Amendment Bill 2021 was read for the first time on the 1st of April 2021 and referred to the Committee of Finance, Planning and Economic Development in accordance with Rule 128 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. The object of the bill. The object of the bill is to amend the External Trade Act Cap 88 to impose an export levy on wheat bran, cotton cake, maize bran, or other byproducts of the milling industry. Again, with your indulgence, I'll leave methodology and go to committee observations.
Yes.
Committee observations. The committee observed that whereas the proposal to impose export levy on wheat bran, cotton cake, maize bran, or any other byproducts of the milling industry at a rate of United States dollars 0.4 per kilogram of wheat bran, cotton cake, maize bran, or other byproducts of the milling industries was intended to encourage local value addition, that is production of animal feeds in Uganda. There is currently very insufficient local capacity for production of animal feeds. There is not enough local demand for the brands. Therefore, imposing an export levy on brands would only serve to adversely impact the demand for the brands and would therefore be damaging to the local millers who for now depend on the regional market to dispose of their excess bran. 2, whereas the value of a kilogram of exports of wheat bran was at Uganda shillings 450, and that of maize bran was at Uganda shillings 300, the export levy is specific at US dollars 0.4 per kilogram, irrespective of value of a unit of export. In addition, the committee observed that a levy of US dollars 0.4 per kilogram translates to 4 times the value of maize bran and 6 times the value of wheat bran. The imposition of the levy will make Uganda's brands uncompetitive in the region and will result into Uganda's brands being abandoned by exporters, yet Uganda does not have adequate local demand for the brands. 3, it is also notable that Uganda imports animal feeds majorly from outside the EAC. In 2020, the total value of animal feeds imports was Uganda shillings 184 billion, of which the imports from the EAC, specifically Kenya, only amounted to 6.1 billion Uganda shillings, which represents only 0.03% of the total value of animal feed imports. The imposition of the levy only serves to curtail trade amongst the East African Community Partner States vis-a-vis the rest of the world. Committee recommendations. The committee recommends that the External Trade Amendment Bill 2021 be rejected. I beg to submit.
Thank you. Yes, Honorable Sawungu.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. And I want to thank the chairperson of the committee and the members. Honorable Speaker, there's something I've not understood very well from this committee. What I know and what is prevailing in Uganda is that Kenyans are getting animal feeds, basically for chicken. We call it brand. Me, I knew brand. We have been using a wrong word, but I've learned that it's called brand. It is Kenya getting to our Chisenyi, buying a lot of these animal feeds, taking them to their country because they know that the mixing of these brands in Uganda produces very good eggs in Kenya. And one time I said here, Madam Speaker, that we used to export eggs, but because we opened for Kenya to take our brand, it ended up taking coming for the animal feeds and the chicken brand, taking it to Kenya so that they could sell their eggs. But what I want to find out from the chairperson of the committee, Madam Chair, have you taken research on the consumption of wheat in Uganda? What I'm seeing is that Ugandans are beginning to grow a lot of wheat. And if you look at people like Mr. Mandela, he has even established a very big factory as you go to Masaka. Now, have you taken into consideration of this one? However, I'm also in support of rejecting. But as you reject, take keen attention on particular brands, not all of them. Like the chicken feeds that are taken out of Uganda, they are making us lose money from countries like Kenya, where Ugandans were exporting trailers and trailers of eggs because of the way we are mixing our brands, getting a lot of eggs, and we are exporting eggs which will be giving us more money than them taking those brands. So I wanted you to give us specific consideration of these particular brands, basically wheat.
But Honorable Member, first you are saying you agree with the rejection, then you're justifying the tax. I don't know.
Madam Chair, you are right. But there are areas I've looked at specifically. That is the chicken brand. That one is from here. But still, let me, you come and help me.
Honorable Kakoza.
Thank you, my brother, to give the way. Why, Madam Speaker, rejected to levy export? Because you see, when you are involved in business, there is a value chain process. And when you put this levy, it will affect the final product. So if you are encouraging export and getting in foreign exchange, you are encouraging people to do more, those who are aligned in agro-processing. Because when there is value addition here, maize, the feeds, and we are not in shortage of that. That's why that when you put an export, and when you are not in shortage, you put a levy, then it will make these people difficult to export to Kenya. So what we are trying to do here, that really anybody who is involved in that agro-processing, in that value chain complete, which does not affect the final product, let's not put tax on it. Like we done on tobacco. Because tobacco, when you say that you are taking a raw material of tobacco, like a BAT did, it went, took the material, it made Uganda supermarket as the final product. So this is what we are trying to avoid, that anybody who is involved in that agro-process, don't leave that person. Let him export that, don't put a levy, because all the final product is made from here. This is the same spirit we are trying to do in this law. That's why the committee, we rejected to levy that.
Governor Kahonda.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I have a small farm in Chegegwa. If you are to get bran in Chegegwa, actually you can't get. When you go to Mubende, a kilogram is at 600 shillings. And a kilogram of maize, it is actually 400. Now, you compare the two. When you compare the two, most of the bran is taken outside, especially to Kenya. And I don't agree with my colleague who says that we have enough. No, we don't. We don't have enough. That's why at times we travel from Chegegwa to Mubende and at times to Kampala in Chisenyi. And when you reach Chisenyi, you find Kenyans have taken almost everything. Madam Speaker, we needed to protect the farmers. We needed to protect our farmers. And one way of protecting our farmers to access these brands is to put a tax. There is no way we can say we are fighting for our farmers when we just let it go. But of recent, Rwandese were buying maize from Chegegwa, Chenjojo, Kamwenje, and the farmers who would produce maize bran, rice bran, would not access it because it could be taken away by Rwandese and Kenyans. Madam Speaker, I support that we put a tax to protect our farmers to access and actually produce eggs, to produce milk at a very affordable price. We cannot practice zero grazing now because the brands are very expensive. We cannot access them. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker.
Now for the answer, the record is not good, not clear. That was Honorable Kahonda, not Honorable Savimana. Please correct your records. Yes, Honorable Ndugwe.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, just for purposes of information, and it's not true that the price of brand is high because of shortage. The price of brand is high because brand doesn't have so many close substitutes. Unlike maize, where you can choose, instead of eating posho, you can choose to eat matoke, you can choose to eat sweet potatoes, you can choose to eat rice. When you are into animal farming, it is either maize bran, wheat bran, maybe rice bran. But we have to agree that we charging a tax on this brand at the end of the day affects, if you don't want export of brand, then the price of maize here will by all means either stagnate or be at a downward trend. Because at the end of the day, the miller is supposed to break even. So if brand is banned from export, we cannot do that unless we have a shortage. But we are suffering with maize. And we have not heard of Kenya banning a Uganda maize brand. It is banning Uganda maize. So therefore, we should support value addition. We should support value addition if the ordinary farmer is to benefit. So at the end of the day, here the ordinary farmer is not losing. So I think Honorable Kaunda is right as a farmer, but economically, I think he is misinterpreting it. Thank you.
Minister, the proposal is to reject your bill. What do you say? Do we still proceed or we leave it?
Madam Speaker, first of all, I want to thank the Honorable Kahondo for that strong argument. But unfortunately, I thank you very much for supporting the bill. But unfortunately, after we had proposed this bill, we analyzed, and also given the fact that we had proposed other measures that the committee agreed on, we analyzed and found out that the new information we got, we found out that this can cause us problems in the South African region when other countries also start imposing, and we agree with this position of the committee.
Okay, members, I put the question, that question be put, those in favor say aye, the contrary no. No, I submit, and I put the question that the external trade amendment bill be read for a second time, those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Noes have it. Let's go to the next item.
Item 9, Bill second reading. The Fish Amendment Bill 2021.
No, Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Fish Amendment Bill 2021 be read a second time.
Is it seconded? Is the bill seconded? Yes, seconded. No, Minister, justify.
Madam Speaker, it's a very short bill. It focuses on imposing an export levy on the fish maw, where we have now discovered that actual export of the fish maw to the Chinese and other countries is of a great value, which goes beyond 50 million US dollars per annum. And we think in the spirit of strengthening our tax revenue, we should be able to impose a particular, rather a small rate on this export through export levy. And that's the purpose for this bill. And I beg to move, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Chair of the Finance Committee, our report.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I present a report of the Committee of Finance, Planning and Economic Development on the Fish Amendment Bill 2021. Introduction. The Fish Amendment Bill 2021 was read for the first time on the 1st April 2021 and referred to the Committee on Finance, Planning and Economic Development in accordance with Rule 128 of the Parliamentary Rules of Procedure. Object of the bill. The object of the bill is to amend the Fish Act, Cap 197, to impose an export levy on fish maw. Again, with your indulgence, I request to skip the methodology. Members can read. Committee observations. The committee observed that Clause 2 proposes to amend the Fish Act by introducing a levy on fish maw exported outside the country at a levy of Uganda shilling 70,000 per kilogram to the Uganda Revenue Authority. It was noted that the fish maw has been going for as low as 20 cents per kilogram, and yet selling so highly, most especially in the Southeast Asia countries. Therefore, this proposal will ensure a value addition and more revenue for the industry, although there is need to streamline and regulate the fish industry. By this, Madam Speaker, the committee felt that the amendment that is in the pipeline should be worked upon as we consider this bill. Committee recommendations. The committee observed that 1, the committee recommends and urges government to fast track the fisheries bill, which is already before Parliament. 2, the committee recommends that government undertake analytical studies on the value of the fish maw internationally with a view to increase the levy upwards. The committee recommends 3, the committee recommends that the Fish Amendment Bill 2021 be passed into law subject to the proposed amendments. I beg to submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much, honourable members. You have heard the report. Yes, Honourable Ndugwa. And Honourable Sachikubo.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. And I want to thank the chair. Yeah, it is true initially, actually I had a minority on this, but we have harmonized with the Honorable Bati. This one, I think we harmonized, and instead of the proposed 70,000 shillings per kilogram, we settled for 8%. And Madam Speaker, for the reason is the fishing community pays a number of taxes, but they are more of a cow that is available for milking all the time with less input from government. And in future, we also want to see government providing the same inputs, I mean, same incentives that they give. For example, if agricultural machinery is exempted from taxes, VAT and the other taxes, fishing inputs are part of agricultural machinery, like nets, boat engines, if at all we are to bring sanity on the lake. Therefore, I have no problem hoping that the proposed amendment is 8% as agreed. Then me, I have no problem, and that I withdraw my minority if that is what is to be presented. Otherwise, but the other proposals, the ministry, the government should also fast track the signing of the protocol, because right now fish more is like a black market. You go through Hong Kong, then smuggle it through China. There's only one exporter here who has been licensed, only one. All the others are not allowed to export. So there is too much protectionism that, and at the end of the day, any time that person wishes that the price of fish and the price of fish more affects the price of fish. If the price of fish more goes up, the price of fish also goes up. Madam Speaker, remember last time we were here on the floor when the price of fish went down. And the reason was the price of fish more had also gone down. So they should fast track the signing of the protocol with China so that our people know specifically where they are taking this fish more. Yeah? And so that we can certainly know the actual price, because you can't find the right price. You can't Google, you can't do what. So it's just speculation, and we should remove that speculation. So, Madam Speaker, I beg to submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm surprised that we have a monopoly. I thought this economy was liberalized a long time ago. But anyway, when I was such a then on Zoom, then on ambition and Oshabe. Okay.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I beg to just add a few views and proposals to the amendment. Right Honorable Speaker, the fish maw is different from the ordinary fish exports. And number two, this fish maw is gotten out of the Nile perch species, not any other fish. So it means that this is a specialized export, and the tax being proposed is not affecting the fish industry across the board. And Right Honorable Speaker and members, I was interacting with some fish dealers, and they were saying that the locals are being
stopped from participating in this business. The locals are not allowed to trade in the fish mall. So it means that this is a trade which is restricted amidst a liberalized economy and liberalized exports. So for that matter, I'm questioning the rationale of arriving at the 70,000 levy. Yet, ideally, right, Honorable Speaker, for the country to benefit, it should be attached to the percentages. We should even say 10%. 10%, whichever values is fetched from abroad, for us we put 10%. Because it is very lucrative, it is the engine now in the fishing exports. And for that, right, Honorable Speaker, the committee chair was saying that more research is needed to be undertaken. And it is very dangerous for this parliament to come up with a policy, because a tax is a policy. A policy is a choice of what to do or what not to do. And we are in the darkness. And the Honorable Buvuma has made it worse, that we are taxing a business that is by and large, you know, an underworld business of smuggled products. I would imagine government shouldn't conceive this price on the hoof, but it should be well planned, well grounded, and we put percentages, first of all, to protect the species, the Nile perch species. Once we allow the mad fishing of and catching of this species, it is likely to be negatively impacted for our fish production in the country, but also for the purposes of getting more income. We should put a percentage, and I would propose that we have a 10%. So whatever price it goes for us, for you, you just put 10%. I think it is more reasonable than the arbitrary 70,000. 70,000 of what? But once you have a percentage, then you know. Once the prices go high, then we can adjust accordingly. It was a proposal, right, Honorable Speaker, and I would also like to support Honorable Migade that we formalize the bilateral agreements with China over this very lucrative business. Information?
Honorable.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank Honorable Chiku for giving way, and he just celebrated Easter yesterday. But we need to know, under what circumstances in this country do we have one person licensed to trade in this fish mall alone the whole country? And Madam Speaker, these are the problems that are associated with the lake, and the minister is not hearing this question because he has to answer it. Under what circumstance is one person registered licensed to carry out the trading of this fish mall alone? And what are the interests of the people who go to the lake to get this Nile perch, and later on they are taken, the mall is taken away from them immediately? That's what I wanted to find out from the minister. Thank you.
Honorable.
And who is that particular person?
Yes. Right, Honorable Speaker. The minister may have better information, but what I heard from the fish dealers was that as soon as they capture the tilapia, the Nile perch, the fish mall is removed immediately and is taken, and it is being enforced by the fish. I'll take the information if it is.
Honorable Gracious.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sechikubo. Honorable Sechikubo, you happen to interact with some of these local exporters here. But the fact is, the product we are talking about is very valuable. And being the value is very high, we find that our local people sometimes fail to raise that capital, and they automatically get out of business. That is not true, that there is a person or some few people who have been allowed to export. That is not correct. That is the information I wanted to give you.
And a fisherman from Nakasongola export? Can a fisherman from Nakasongola export the fish more?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, it is not only the fisherman from Nakasongola who can't export, but even one from Uganda, I mean from Buvuma, cannot export. Because Minister of Agriculture entered into an agreement with only one company. And so whoever is to sell fish more must sell to that single supplier. So that single person is the one who determines the daily price. Today you can come and say, buying this maybe at 10,000 per kilo. Then the next day he says you are too many. Or if he sees there's a bump harvest, says now there's no market at all. Then all of you. So at the end of the day, no person is supposed. There are so many people with licenses to trade in fish more locally. But all the other, each day the fish more is actually confiscated from them, by different forces. And the reason is that they want all the fish to go to the factory because the other single person who is licensed and his accomplices, they can better monitor fish more at the factory than in the community. So, and there's no factory that accepts fish without fish more. So when you take fish without fish more, then that one is treated to be fish tampered with.
Okay.
So,
Okay, no members, I think that our Committee of Agriculture should take an interest in that monopoly so that we understand how it's operating and liberate our people from operation. Please close. I want to invite Honorable Bakelo.
Yes, very, very true, right, Honorable Speaker, and I fully support that proposal and your guidance, right, Honorable Speaker. What is actually happening is that the fish more is just confiscated. That is what is happening on the lake. And I'm surprised Honorable Chinji was attempting to sanitize a bad thing happening in our country. The fishermen just look on. The more is confiscated. I don't know what remains, whether it is fish or carcass, they just leave it to you. But the more is forcefully taken from these fishermen. Right, Honorable Speaker, in an era of the liberalized economy, how can the Minister of Finance wish to tax a sector that he knows that we are under a liberalized economy, but the profitable part is being monopolized, is a preserve of one single company, one person, and even the law enforcement, the fish law enforcement is in fact, it is the one that gives the police cover to confiscate people's fish. They remove and finally, I'll take it from Honorable Lisa as I sit down, right, Honorable Speaker.
Let's deal with the tax for now. Yes, Honorable Nyandoha.
Yeah, Honorable Speaker, whereas I am in support of this amendment bill, but I would request this House and the Minister to ensure that there is protection of the ordinary fisherman down in the lakes. Because the challenges the fishermen and women are going through to go to this, it is very important for us to understand that there is need for them to know that there is an amount that has been fixed on this fish more. Otherwise, if you just leave it to the other person who is exporting, then we are disadvantaging them and it doesn't augur well in the fishing industry. And if we are looking forward to improving the fishing industry, it is very important for us to protect the ordinary fisherman in this area. I beg to submit.
Thank you. Can I have Honorable Lucy Akelo on Zoom?
Madam Speaker, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Because this levy, for me, I think
The sound is not coming.
not getting me, Madam Speaker.
Okay, now you speak.
Okay, thank you. My only discomfort is that we don't have yet much information regarding this this fish mob, and when the committee talks of reviewing this whole thing, so that maybe we have an upward levy, I think this should be done very quickly. I'm also not very comfortable with the 70,000. I am more comfortable with percentage as opposed to the 70,000 because
Sound has gone again. Sorry, I've lost her. Can I invite Honorable Nambeshe?
the prices go up, then we are going to work with the percentage. And like Honorable Theodore talked about,
Can you try again, complete?
yes, Madam Speaker, I'm very sorry. I'm trying to use my Wi-Fi, and I think somebody had called, so that the network went off. My apologies for that. What I was saying, I'm more comfortable with putting a percentage as opposed to putting a fixed amount like the committee is suggesting of 70,000. I tend to go with the percentage as opposed to the price. I don't know whether what I've said is clearly understood.
Yes, it has been understood. Thank you, Honorable Lucy. Honorable Nambeshe.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker.
You want to come back? He's now here.
Madam Speaker,
Okay.
when I saw the proposal of 70,000 per kilogram, I was one of those that put my full weight behind the minister for that proposal. Little did I know that this area, this particular business has had an attractive, actually most attraction is for the rich dealers. And the ministry has also encouraged monopoly. And we have to know that this will run the risk of depleting the fish stocks because this Nile perch is now going to be an endangered species. The tax should have helped to protect and preserve this species, but also protect our local fishermen. But it's now a complete opposite. So I would concur with the Honorable Mikade that to protect our fishermen and also the fish stocks, it would be better to bring the percentage even as low as 5%, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Deo Chinja and then Muyanja. And then, is that Otieno? But honor members, was this proposal taken to the committee? Or percentage was taken? Okay, okay.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the committee for their proposal. But for me, I would think that instead of putting a flat figure, we should at least introduce something similar to what is taxed on coffee. In coffee, we have got 2% cess on the value of the coffee export. Being the fact that the prices always fluctuate, this fish more does not mean that the price will always be constant. So it can always fluctuate. So it would be wise that we put a percentage on the value of the CIF that on each and every amount which is exported, instead of using a flat figure. And what I would think that what we should put should always be in consideration with what is on the ground, because we can put a figure which will be deterring on the local market. So we propose that we put a percentage, in my own view, because the value is very high, let us put a percentage of about 2, which is similar to coffee. I thank you.
Ona Muyanja? Muyanja, then Otieno. You want to come back? Nyandoha, you have already spoken.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker and honourable colleagues. I want to thank the committee. Their recommendations are reasonable, but sometimes we have a challenge, Honourable Speaker. When people, yes, we want the taxes, and indeed we have to support the government to have the taxes, but still you have to protect. When you look at the fishermen, right, Honourable Speaker, down there, very little has come out from government to support them. And indeed, now when we hike the price or the percentage, that will scare many, and indeed we shall be supporting those ones who are already of the upper class. According to the report, they are saying 8%. That was from Honorable Migade, but which is still on the upper side. If we consist on 5%, I'm sure all Ugandans will be comfortable, and the tax will be easy to collect instead of having people hiding away, because the fishermen can find a way of going to Tanzania, going to Kenya, and we end up losing the market. But if we come up with a 5%, I'm sure it will be balancing the boat for both sides. I thank you.
No, Otieno?
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to thank the committee and my colleagues who have made their contributions. I specifically want to address myself the issue of the is it the percentage or the flat rate? Right Honourable Speaker, I want to support those who are saying we should do tax on a percentage basis. Reason being that since we are interested in looking for money to finance our budget, but also we should know that tax is also a social tool. It will also help us in protecting the fish species and ensure that the resources are more protected so that we continue growing and exporting more. Right Honourable Speaker, I want to put figures to some of these things. In 2017, we exported 488 tons of fish more. That's 2017. But 2019, we exported 740 tons, and we earned 76.27 million US dollars. In 2020, I think this is a half-year performance, we exported 347 tons, and we got 32.758 million US dollars. So if we put a rate of say 10%, that means in the other financial would have got 76,000 million US dollars. I mean 76,000 US dollars and so on. So it would help us in raising more revenue. than if we say we went for a flat rate. But also, right, Honourable Speaker, the other argument is that government needs to be fair. The reason why you see government is taxing these fish more is because at the moment, it's mainly dominated by the local fishermen, the ordinary Ugandans. And that's why you see government is very vigilant in coming in actively to tax this fish more. But we could also have generated more money from the fish export itself. Right, Honourable Speaker, last year in 2019, we exported fish worth 99.7 million US dollars. But what are we taxing? Just 1%. And even this tax 1%, it has been a hassle. Government wanted it zero. So the reason you see, there are only 11 companies that are exporting fish. None of those is owned by Ugandan. All those are foreigners. So you wonder why government is reluctant to tax businesses which are dominated by foreigners. For instance, you have got 90 million US dollars. You are not taxing it, but you are eager to tax only $70 million because Ugandans are the major players. So right, Honourable Speaker, I would propose that for fairness, we should tax Ugandans, but even these foreigners who are depleting our resources, Ugandans are not allowed to export. They don't want it to go in the waters to fish, to get the fish. But now when the factories are exporting, they are not paying any taxes. As a country, we own the resources. What are we getting out of these resources that we own jointly? The foreigners are the ones benefiting. Actually, all the 11 companies, there is only one which has got a Ugandan name, but I'm not even sure whether that Ugandan name is just used for purpose of registration locally here. The other 10 are purely owned by foreign companies. They are foreigners. I'm not going to mention where they come from. I'm not going to mention their names, but they're all foreigners. So, right, Honourable Speaker, for me, I want to support Honourable Sechkubo. Let's raise this thing, the tax from 8% to 10%. After all, it doesn't affect the ordinary Ugandans. These are taxes on exports. On exports. Yes. Come.
Thank you, Honorable Tienokot, for giving way. The point Honorable Tienokot is making is very valid, and I join others. I would pursue that, tagging percentage. But I want to share with you my fear. You are saying the Ugandans will not be affected. You are taxing a monopolist. When you tax him, he's going to lower the prices. So that is when you tax him higher, he's going to lower the prices because he's the only player. What I'm talking about is I thought is economics, but from Reniaga, it could sound political.
Thank you, Honourable, for that information. Actually, Honourable has a point, but the only thing I want to add here is that even as we speak now, the Ugandans are already being exploited. The moment you have a monopoly, as we speak now, Ugandans are already exploited. So this tax, whether you raise or you lower or you don't do anything, it will not save Ugandans from being exploited. So our point here is, let's tax this resource, use it to help in conserving a natural resource which belongs to all of us as Ugandans. That's the major point here. So it will not stop these people from, the other thing we must fight as a house here is to lift this monopoly. Why do you allow, and the other time the minister was addressing this house on that issue, and he said he was going to come back. Maybe this house should now direct that the minister should come back and tell us how far he has gone addressing that issue, because he addressed the house on that issue here, right, Honourable Speaker. Maybe it is high time he came back and informed the house what measures he has taken in addressing and allowing other players also to come in. But also there's another problem. Even the source, the other side, is also limited. We have limited people supplying here, exporting, but even the other side, they are tying us to only one market. We should even open up the market the other side and also open it up here so that many Ugandans can join the trade. Right, Honourable Speaker, I beg to submit.
Yeah, I had already instructed the Agriculture Committee to take up this issue of the monopoly and update us. So really, I'm reiterating the instructions. So, honour members, I put the question, the question we put, those in favor say aye, the contrary no. I put the question that the fish amendment bill be read for a second time. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Let's have it. Stage.
The Fish Amendment Bill 2021, Bills Committee stage. Clause 1.
Honour members, I put the question that clause 1 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 2.
Clause 2, Honourable Chair.
Right, Honourable Speaker, before I comment on I give our committee view on the amendment, I want to address my mind to what earlier on Honourable Sechikubo had said about more studies, whether studies were done. Madam Speaker, at committee level, we did ask the ministry if they had carried out some studies, and indeed they had done something and they gave us that report. But we still emphasize that more should be done in respect of this industry so that our fishermen and exporters or the economy benefits from this. But the amendment we have, Madam Speaker, is clause 2. The amendment reads as follows. Clause 2 is amended in the proposed section 30A1 by substituting for the words 70,000 shillings per kilogram, the words 8% of the total value. Madam, our justification is that it is better to go with percentage than figures specified as 70,000 because the fish more, we are told that are of different values, and as prices fluctuate, Madam Speaker, this will not affect, will not disturb the tax collector so much in administration of this. The justification, Madam Speaker, is to reduce the proposed charge on fish moors to encourage compliance. I beg to submit.
Yes. Honourable Sechikubo.
Madam Chair, I'll just want to improve on the committee's amendment, and I've talked to the chair to concede on the 10%. Madam Chair, the 10% has been well explained, and it has gained consensus amongst members, and without risking subjecting the committee's proposal, probably the chair could concede at 10%. It will help our fish industry and even the fish itself, the Nile perch. Our species shall be protected, and we shall use this sector and resource sustainably. I beg to move.
Madam Chair.
Honourable Kakoza and then Honourable Otieno.
Principally, why the committee suggested to lower the percentage is because when you create monopoly in a business, you leave to those people who can afford. What about your local people who are involved? 2, the counterproductive measure after that, the aftermath, it will be people will evade that tax. And it will be a very expensive for URA to correct. The best way is to reduce, you have a turnover, and when you get a turnover, you will collect more revenue than hiking the percentage. That's why the bill was saying 8%. We said, no, we lower the percentage so that everybody involved in that, because now we are leaving it to bourgeois to export. And those people, the local people who are involved in it, they will get nothing. The only way is to reduce it so that everybody can afford, and you have a turnover to what you want to get more revenue than you hike the percentage. 8% or 10% translates almost 10 million before even you start a
But now,
business.
because I'm a member of this committee, I don't know whether you are.
That's why I'm supporting the committee
Oh.
position. I'm supporting the committee position that will reduce that percentage, not to be high, so that everybody, as you've stated, Madam Chair, so
The
that
committee
even
is
the local
proposing
people
8. The
can
committee is
afford.
proposing 8. The committee has proposed 8%. Honorable Both, then Honorable Saida.
Right Honorable Chairperson, we are doing the sideline consultations. My interest is percentage, but we have to know what is the current price of a fish meal. And I do not know whether we all know this, how many fresh fish meal kilograms would make one dry one. And when you talk about the range is about 150 to 180,000. The committee proposed 70,000 per kilo.
That was the minister.
The minister.
The minister proposed 20,000.
And the committee is proposing 8.
Mm.
The sector players in this, we might think that when we go with percentage, would be safer. Of course, yes, because of inflation. It would not be prudent for us to legislate putting amount. What was 20,000 many years ago, today means nothing. So, honorable members, we should look at, with the help from the sector players, and I thought Honorable Migade, being a fisherman himself, and would be to tell us the exact, we don't want to injure our local people. So the percentage that would be moderate for us, 10, if 10%, isn't it 18,000 per kilogram? So can we make, I think the committee, I believe that they had the benefit to interact with the people who were the stakeholders before them to suggest 8. I would be persuaded, and I would like to persuade ourselves that we support the position of the committee at 8. And laws are not static. We observe what is going on. And Honorable Sechkubo, who moved for 10%, is overwhelmingly now smiling and supporting the 8% position, has a harmonized position.
Okay, honor members, again, I need to repeat that when amendments come spontaneously, no one has had time to consider them, but the committee at least had time to evaluate and came up with 8%. Why don't we go with that for this financial year? And if it's not working well, we can review. Yes. Honor members, I put the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 2 as amended.
Put the question that clause 2 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 3.
Put the question that clause 3 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
The title.
Put the question that the title do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Motion for the House to resume.
Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the House bill resume and the committee of the whole House reports thereto.
Now, members, the question is that the House do resume and the committee of the whole House report thereto. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no.
Report from the committee of the whole House.
Madam Speaker, I beg to report that the committee of the whole House has considered the bill entitled the Fish Amendment Bill 2021 and passed it with amendments.
Motion for adoption.
Motion for adoption of the report from the committee of the whole House.
Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the report from the committee of the whole House be adopted.
Now, members, the question is that the report of the committee of the whole House be adopted. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Bill third reading.
Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Fish Amendment Bill 2021 be read the third time and do pass.
Now, members, the question is that the bill entitled the Fish Amendment Bill 2021 be read for the third time and do pass. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
A bill for an act entitled the Fish Amendment Bill 2021.
Title settled and bill passes. Income tax. Oh,
Bill
we had the
second.
traffic, sorry. There's a traffic amendment. Let's finish the Road Traffic Act. Item 10.
Item 10, Bill second reading, the Traffic and Road Safety Act Amendment Bill 2021.
No, Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Traffic and Road Safety Act Amendment Bill 2021 be read the second time.
Is it seconded, honourable members? Seconded? Justify, honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, the object of this bill is to amend the Traffic and Road Safety Act, Cap 361, to provide for a license for possession of a motor vehicle, to introduce an annual license fee for all motor vehicles, to repeal the third schedule to the Act, and to repeal Section 1 and the first schedule of the first schedule to the Finance Act 2006, to help government to raise revenue to finance the priorities of the NRM government. And Madam Speaker, this bill was referred to the committee. I beg to move.
Thank you, Minister. Can we invite a committee to report?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I present a report of the Committee of Finance, Planning and Economic Development on the Traffic and Road Safety Act Amendment Bill 2021. The introduction. The Traffic and Road Safety Act Amendment Bill 2021 was read for the first time on the 1st of April 2021 and referred to the Committee on Finance, Planning and Economic Development in accordance with Rule 128 of the Parliamentary Rules of Procedure. Object of the bill. The object of the bill is to amend the Traffic and Road Safety Act, Cap 361, to provide for a license for possession of a motor vehicle, to introduce an annual license fee for all motor vehicles, to repeal the third schedule to the Act, and to repeal Section 1 and the first schedule to the Finance Act 2006. Again, with your indulgence, I'll request that I skip methodology and go straight to committee observations. The committee observed that 1, clause 2 proposes to amend CAP 361 to require every person who owns or possesses a motor vehicle, trailer, or engineering plan, or uses it on a road to have the motor vehicle, trailer, or engineering plan license under this act. Clause 2 further proposes to provide for annual fees to be paid by every person who owns or possesses a motor vehicle, trailer, or engineering plant, or uses it on a road on or before the 31st day of January of every year, as may be prescribed by the minister by regulations. Whereas the proposal seeks to streamline car registration and ownership to weed out those that are illegitimate, although it is noted that for every motor vehicle, trailer, or engineering plant that is brought into the country, a tax is imposed. Hence, introduction of the proposed levy is bound to be tagged as double taxation. Government had previously, in the year 2007, repealed the same tax and introduced it as tax on fuel. The proposal also has negative implications and imposes high costs of doing business, especially on the tourism sector and on companies with large fleets, causes difficulty in tax compliance and administration, often resulting in corruption tendencies. Clause 3 proposes to repeal the third schedule of the Principal Act. Clause 4 proposes to amend the Finance Act 2006 by repealing Section 1 and the first schedule. Committee recommendations. The committee recommends that 1, government considers imposing indirect taxes in this sector as a means to collect revenue. This will ease on the tax administration, given that the proposed amendment has various players, for instance, the police, the Ministry of Works and Transport, and Uganda Revenue Authority. The committee recommends that all the proposed amendments to the Traffic and Road Safety Amendment Bill be rejected, 2021 be rejected. Madam Speaker, I beg to submit.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. And members, you've heard the report. Honorable Odur.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I want to thank the committee for taking this firm position to reject this proposed very regressive tax regime. Madam Speaker, you'll recall that the justification then for transferring the cost of road lances to fuel in 2007 was that it was breeding corruption, it was difficult to collect, and as a result, about 800 shillings was transferred. For the first time, fuel prices went from under 2,000 to nearly 3,000 shillings in Uganda. Madam Speaker, at the moment, it is not true that the vehicles that are moving on our roads are not paying licenses. If you look at the taxis, the passenger vehicles that are operating, they're already paying the advanced taxes, and they're also paying that lances per seat, which is 20,000, depending on the seating capacity of the vehicle. These taxes have overwhelmed the operators, and it's making it very difficult for businesses to survive. Secondly, this very same house had also agreed that there will be annual vehicle inspections. And these vehicle inspections has attached a fee of about 100,000 per saloon car and about 48,000 for the motorcycles. So if we allow this tax to be levied, it means that to own a vehicle, you will have to pay nearly 300,000 every year. But even for passenger vehicles that are doing businesses, the cost would go higher. So I support the committee for taking this bold decision, and we should actually amend their report that the minister should never come back to this house with such a very regressive tax. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay, Minister.
Madam Speaker, we had a very candid discussion about this measure with the committee, and I want to thank the chair and members. And we all agreed that it is important that we first prepare properly to make sure that we have systems in place on how we are going to be assessing the roadworthiness of the vehicles, put systems on if there's any tax to be collected in that area, on how it is going to be collected. And therefore, I just want to amend the recommendation of the committee to say that after consultations with the minister, the committee agreed that this bill should be stayed. So
You cannot stay a tax bill on a member. Just
we concede with the committee, Madam Speaker.
Okay, on members, since the minister has agreed to not proceed with this bill, I put the question. Yes, Honorable Setikubo.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker and members. Madam Speaker, before we can take a vote on this matter, I beg for one clarification. Madam Speaker, we are still debating the tax bills. And last Friday, when we amended the fuel tax on this floor, even before the budget is read in June, the following day, Right Honorable Speaker, fuel prices, pump prices have already been hiked. I usually have my diesel car fueled at 1,350. But now, 3,350. But now, Right Honorable Speaker, immediately we passed this proposal and that amendment here. The following date had been raised by 130 shillings at pump prices. So I wanted to seek clarification from the minister. I thought these measures take effect after reading the budget. How come that whatever we discuss here immediately, the market responds and nobody is stepping in to guide and training on these unscrupulous business persons around the country? Right, Honorable Speaker, when we do our work here as Parliament, I thought government would come out with guidance to the business community or whoever is involved, that these measures take effect by 16th June. But it is as if we already passing the budget here. So I wanted to know which is which, Honorable Minister. Why are the outside market and the consumers and the users and the people we are supposed to legislate for going and running ahead of government? Is government in charge? Is anybody free to do as they wish? I thought a country must have the laws and the policies in place, then they are implemented by the other side, but not the other way around. It is as if we are being led by the public and the market.
Okay, honourable members, let us first deal with this law, then it's a legitimate question, the minister will answer. But let me finish with this amendment. I put the question that the question be put, those in favor say aye, the contrary no. I put the question that Traffic and Road Safety Act amendment will be read for a second time. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Noes have it. Now you can answer the question, Minister.
Madam Speaker, the increase in the prices of fuel, which actually started somewhere in March, is not because of the speculation that we are going to increase a levy of 100 shillings, but has been because of the global increase in the price of oil. So it is something that is affecting not only Uganda, but affecting the entire world. Whether this was put there or not, still it was going to be increased, and we think that it is temporary. Hopefully in a few months it will come down, but the reason is the global increase in prices of fuel. Thank you.
Honourable members, so let's go to item 11. No, let's finish with the, I have another paper. I know the income tax is coming. Let me finish the mining, then we go to income tax. And close the revenue bills.
Item 11 on the order paper, bill second reading, the mining amendment bill 2021.
No, Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the mining amendment bill 2021 be read the second time.
Is it seconded, honourable members? Yes, seconded. Justify.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker and colleagues. Madam Speaker, when we established the refinery of gold in Entebbe, over time we have seen an increase in our gold export in the excess of $1 billion US dollars. So the purpose of this particular bill is to impose a minimal export levy on unprocessed gold and unprocessed minerals to be able to generate revenue to finance our budget. I beg to move.
Now, Chair of the Finance Committee, our report.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I present a report of the Committee of Finance, Planning and Economic Development on the Mining Amendment Bill 2021. The introduction, the Mining Amendment Bill 2021 was read for the first time on the 1st of April 2021 and referred to the Committee on Finance, Planning and Economic Development in accordance with Rule 128 of the Parliamentary Rules of Procedure. Object of the bill. The object of the bill is to amend the Mining Act 2003 to impose an export levy on processed gold and unprocessed minerals. Again, with your indulgence, I beg to skip methodology and go to committee observations. The committee observed that 1, clause 2 proposes to amend section 116 of the Mining Act to provide for a levy on processed gold and a levy on unprocessed minerals as follows. 116A, levy on processed gold. 1, there shall be charged a levy on processed gold at the rate of United States dollars 200 per kilogram, which is exported out of Uganda. 2, the levy referred to in subsection 1 shall be paid by the exporter to the Uganda Revenue Authority at the time when the processed gold is exported out of Uganda. 116B, levy on unprocessed minerals. 1, there shall be charged a levy on unprocessed minerals at the rate of 1% of the value of the unprocessed minerals, which is exported out of Uganda. 2, the levy referred to in subsection 1 shall be paid by the exporter to the Uganda Revenue Authority at the time when the unprocessed minerals are exported out of Uganda. This proposal is intended to increase the country's benefits from the export of the minerals that have been imported into the country for processing as well as locally sourced minerals. Further, the committee noted that in order for the country to gain more revenue from the minerals sector, there is a need to encourage value addition because the country is losing a lot of revenue through export of unprocessed minerals. Further, government should ensure that all gold is wholly processed in Uganda. Committee recommendations. 1, the committee recommends that the Mining Amendment Bill 2021 be passed into law subject to the proposed amendments. I beg to submit, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Honourable members. Yes, no, change.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the chairperson of the committee. We have just been discussing the issue of the percentage on fish meal export. I wonder why we again fix an amount on a valuable commodity like gold. Because, Madam Speaker, currently, a kilo of gold is about 205 million shillings. When you impose $200, it means we are going to earn 700,000, which is very little money. Why don't we fix a percentage the way we have done with fish more, so that we can get more money? I beg to submit.
Thank you. Honorable Chair.
Madam Speaker, that consideration being suggested by the member was made by the committee, and it's going to come into the amendments. When we come to amendment, we suggested in terms of percentages.
Okay. Any other comments, members? Yes, Honorable Kahonda and Nyendoha.
Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank the committee for considering this. However, Madam Chair, rather Madam Speaker, when you look at the levy on the exportation of the unprocessed gold at 1%, Madam Speaker, I think this is not fair. It is very little money, and we are in the process of widening our tax base. Honorable Minister, I think this is something that we should look at. Madam Chair, we also need at least to increase that percentage from 1% probably to 5%. Madam Chair, Madam Speaker, we know and we are aware that gold is also another lucrative business. And when you look at the exportation,
Information, Honorable Saida.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to thank my colleague for giving way. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to inform my colleague that Uganda is a highway for smuggled gold, smuggled minerals. There are more minerals smuggled through Uganda than what is produced in Uganda. So therefore, when you are fixing a levy on the mineral exports, I think it should be high, because this is not our origin. People are using our country to smuggle this gold. We should therefore get the maximum out of it. Therefore, the export levy should be much higher than the 1% which is being proposed here. I would propose a 5%.
Please conclude, Honorable Kahonda.
thank you so much, and I want to thank my colleague because her submission actually justifies my submission that the ministry had proposed 1%. The committee is proposing 2.5%. And Madam Speaker, on this, we are also aware the people who are dealing, who are incensed with gold business, especially those who are allowed to export and import. Madam Speaker, I'm proposing that on this, we go for 5% for the country also to gain some revenue, to benefit from our raw materials, as well as the materials, the business that the Honorable Saida was referring to. I thank you.
Nyendoha, Otieno.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I also take the opportunity to thank the committee for this bill. But I have this to say. I want to believe that it's the interest of this committee to make sure that we discourage the issue of exporting and processed minerals in this country. And if that's the case, we also have to look at the issue of the value chain in this sector. Meaning, in the best interest of this country and for the sector to grow, we need to increase the percent at which we charge this. Therefore, 5% is even little, maybe 8% or 10%. That's my suggestion. I beg to submit.
No, Otieno.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, straight away, I want to agree with the Honorable MP from Bulisa that actually even when you talk of 5%, that's just a peanut. We even 10%, we would even be talking about 20%, Right Honorable Speaker. But look at these figures. Look at the figures. Right Honorable Speaker, a member of parliament earns 11,180,000 and he pays a tax of 3,375,000. Now, if you put a kilo of gold, for instance, at 57,000 in Uganda shillings, that is equivalent of 205 million shillings. In terms of earning, from 1 kilo of gold, the gold exporter earns 18 times what a member of parliament earns. 18 times. Now, if a member of parliament pays every month 3,375,000, if you multiply that by 18, it would mean the equivalent tax this person should pay is 60 million. But now we are talking about the person paying just 2 million, 5 million, 10 million. A Ugandan here, a member of parliament, is paying an equivalent of 60 million on the same base. But for you, in terms of the gold exporter, you are saying if you should only pay 1%, 2%, right? Also at 5%. At 5%, this will be paying just 10 million, which is just very little money compared to what other Ugandans are paying. So the principles of taxation, Right Honorable Speaker, is that spread the heart, let the pain be the same. The way it pains the member of parliament to pay the tax should be the same pain the gold exporter should suffer when he's also earning this money or exporting his gold. So in that situation, Right Honorable Speaker, I would say that we need to be fair to Ugandans and ensure that we don't only subject Uganda to excessive suffering, pain from taxation, but this pain should be spread equally to all taxpayers. Therefore, for me, I'm even at pain to accept 10%, but I would go for 20%. But I've told you, Right Honorable Speaker, the issue is spread the pain equally. I have said this person earns 18 times what a member of parliament pays. So if the pain of a member of parliament suffers, the equivalent would be 60 million for this person. But they're now asking to pay only you're asking to pay only 10 million if it's at 5%. At less than 5%, the person is paying just around 3 million like a member of parliament, but is earning 205 million on every kilogram of gold. So really, Right Honorable Speaker, the principles of taxation should be applied in this case on a pro rata basis. That's my submission.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I'm a member of the Physical Infrastructure Committee, and this morning I've found a letter in my mailbox written by His Excellency the President to the Minister of Works about gold mining concerning the artisanal miners in Kisita. And the President went on to say that those artisanal miners should be given at least 6 months to vacate that area so that we can pave way for the big miners, the companies. And as you are well aware, it is likely that in the near future, the local people are not going to be involved in mining anymore. And so the companies are going to take on. So for the Ugandans, especially the lower people, to benefit from this, it is only from tax. So Madam Speaker, I'm of the opinion that this percentage, if it is less, should be fixed at 20. Otherwise, we are going to have the gold, yes, but as Ugandans, we shall not benefit. For the benefit of the institution of parliament, Madam Speaker, I may even go and pick the copy of that letter so that I can lay it on table. So we need to put it at a percentage that Ugandans, the common Ugandan, will benefit. And I would go with 20% or even more, honorable members. I thank you.
Okay, Honorable Shaija, and then Honorable Oki.
Sorry. Thank you very much, Right Honourable Speaker. On the issue at hand, I want us to remember that when we talked about the mall, we put the increase for the tax at 8%, but very few people know about it. But I know that since time immemorial, we know that the minerals are a selling commodity and the value cannot be doubted. Therefore, Right Honourable Speaker, I propose that we cannot, I agree with the previous speaker that we can put it at 20% rather than the 8% which we have given to the mall, which is, we are just learning about it, but the other one has been there since time immemorial. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Loki. You have moved again. Rocky and Senyok.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, as I sat, I kept on asking myself, these taxes are meant to benefit who? Because the way the tax regimes are being set, they seem to be protecting the people who should be paying taxes. There was a story of fish. I don't think a kilo of the fish story they were talking about here, me, I'm a Karamojong. I don't know what they're talking about, the fish, but that's the stuff they're referring to. I don't know how much a kilo costs, and yet we are putting a levy of 8%. Now we are talking about a valuable mineral, gold, which according to the market, I have just been looking at a kilo of gold is going for about 47,000 euros. And therefore, even if the gold is coming from Congo or South Sudan or wherever, but as long as it has passed through Uganda, and Uganda used as a vehicle to deliver it to the 47,000 euros per kilogram, it therefore requires, it should be taxed. I totally agree with the members' proposal that this tax be increased to 20%, because there is no other window that Uganda will gain from and Ugandans will gain from. We have just talked about the issue of the license. You are putting a license fee on everybody. But when it is gold, you are protecting the few that are making big wealth. So then why is the point of equity in the rules of taxation? Madam Speaker, I support that 20% be levied. I thank you.
Thank you. Can I invite Honorable Kamsimba? He has brought the letter from the President concerning the gold.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker and honorable members, I have a letter written by His Excellency the President to the Minister of Works and Transport, General Edward Katumba Amara, and it was written on 22nd February 2021, and the subject was eviction of illegal miners from Kisita mines. And I read verbatim. I have received a report from Kisita mining area about the continuing chaos in that area. Now, carefully listen to my directive. Minerals are a property of all the 46 million Ugandans. They do not belong to individuals, not even the landowners of the area. Especially for gold, it has the characteristics of okukokoka, meaning peeling off, fragments of kunkumuka, then get carried downstream by water. It is these bukunkumuka or peelings that artisanal miners have been mining. Some time ago, I told all the concerned that these bukunkumuka must be coming from a rock that has gold. Could the artisanal miners please temporarily withdraw from these areas so that more capable companies look for the rock that contains the gold, so that then we have an organized industry that benefits the whole country? Nobody should be allowed to interfere with this. It is like bread. There is loaf, but there is also bukunkumuka. Why do we only spend all the time on bukunkumuka and never look for the loaf from which the bukunkumuka are coming from? Nobody should be tolerated to interfere with the heritage of Ugandans. All these artisanal miners have their homes where they originate if they are Ugandans. Let them go back so that we arrange the mining sector well. If they sold their Bibanja where they came from, that was their mistake. Damaging or kuzingamia, stroke stunting Uganda's mining industry cannot be a solution for people who mishandled their family wealth. I'm therefore in favor of giving these miners a period not exceeding 6 months for all to vacate the mining area so that exploration takes place. And he signed it, His Excellency, the President, and he gave copies to His Excellency, the Vice President, Right Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Attorney General, the members of Parliament, and resident district commissioners. Madam Speaker, may I take the honor to lay on table the said letter written by His Excellency, the President. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Senor, Honorable Senor, wanted to say something?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues. I can see the chair is more interested in a lower percentage. After having heard from this data, Right Honorable Speaker, even the 20% is still on the lower side. Right Honorable Speaker, we have so many people who are dealing in this gold mining. When you look at the price they are selling, vis-a-vis the way they are exploiting our local ones. The local ones, indeed, like the letter said, they are benefiting Bukunkumuka. Bukunkumuka means those leftovers. So this is the only way where the government can have money and we serve the country and the service delivery improves on the many demanding issues which are pending. Because when you look at our budget, Right Honorable Speaker, we have so many items which are unfunded priorities. Unfunded priorities, why? Because you cannot balance our budget. If there is an opportunity like this, and we have heard from the big man that the big ones are coming, that's the only opportunity we should charge them 25%, if my colleagues can say aye.
Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues. I do agree, in principle, I do agree with an increase. But Right Honorable Speaker, when you impose a tax, at the end of it, you expect the tax collector to collect. I see a situation whereby jumping too high to 20% or more, we are going to indirectly encourage the people who are in this business to avoid or evade this tax. Madam Speaker, please protect me.
Allow the chair to make a point.
And for us to avoid and really be able to collect this tax, Madam Speaker, much as I agree that there should be an increase, let's say from 5%, but taking it to 20%, Madam Speaker, having consulted the technical people, it may be a problem collecting. I would therefore suggest that that is my member, Madam
Information,
Speaker.
I wanted to give you to supplement you what you are talking about.
Yes.
Because, Madam Speaker, this gold, people who are involved in this gold is an international business. You people who have Google, you can Google and see. I wanted to give members so that they can evaluate what we want to pass through. A kilo of gold today in Uganda is about 203,686 to 52.91. The current market rate internationally.
That's 203 million.
Yes, 203 million. Kilogram.
Yeah.
The current rate, international market, which is determined by $1, is about 505,587.11. The difference is about 3 million. Somebody who is involved in that business. You can imagine, you go for extraction, you've bought it locally, you've added value. Now you are charging this guy 10% or 20%, will that business continue or it will collapse? The profit you get, is what the tax collector wants to gain. This is the rate. It's not just jumping. This is an internal thing. Because you don't say, there is nobody who is going to get on international market to sell a kilogram more than 205 million. No way, where can you sell it? Because that's why when they are keeping gold because the value doesn't change, but the dollar changes. That's why the bill is saying we are charging that tax about $200 per that. In case you get 3 million, we get 700,000 from you. But when you charge 10%, you are charging more than the profit of this man in the business. So the business will collapse. Yeah, this is the Google and find out the rate of the gold.
On our side,
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. I would like to thank all the colleagues who have proposed different percentages in order to make sure that Ugandans get maximum benefits from the raw minerals. But Right Honorable Speaker, Uganda is not on an island. We are part of the community, and all the borders in the community are porous. If they have been smuggling through Uganda, they will start smuggling. If we put up a very high tax rates, they will start smuggling through Kenya and other countries. So I wanted to propose to my colleagues that when we are suggesting the rates, we must be mindful that we have competitors. Our main source for this smuggled gold minerals is Congo. Congo has got other borders. They smuggle it through other places. So let's be mindful. 20% or 25%, anything above 10%, Right Honorable Speaker, is on the high side. I support measures for improving tax revenue, but anything beyond 10% will be unreasonable. Right Honorable Speaker.
Minister.
Madam Speaker, it is important that as we make the final decision when we move into the committee of the whole house, we understand and put this issue in the context. Before the refinery at Entebbe was put in place, we were importing gold in millions of dollars. After the refinery was put in place, there was a lot of attraction of gold within the country for processing. And now we are exporting over $1 billion in gold. So as we think about taxation, we all want more revenue. The question is, at what rate should we put, and once we put that rate, what effect will it have on the business? That's why in the beginning, Madam Speaker, we had suggested that we should have a progressive. We put a rate and then progressively we move. So I think 20% is on the higher side. It has not been studied properly to know whether it will actually shift the refinery somewhere else and what effect will it have on the business of gold in the country. So I want to concur with the former Minister of Finance that let us be cautious, and as we move into the committee of the whole house, we can be looking at the technical people can look at the rate that is reasonable. We agree that we can increase, and we are very happy that members for this particular item, we are moving towards increasing. Point of order, my friend.
Madam Speaker, the minister had proposed in the bill the rate of $200 per kilogram.
Yes.
The profit margin of gold ranges between 2 million to 3 million on the world market. If you charge 200, it means you are charging 35% per kilogram. Would the minister be in order to come here and undermine his own proposal of 35%. Because if you convert 200,000, it comes to 35%. And then tell us that we are frustrating the business. Is he in order? When his own bill proposed $200 per kilogram, which is equivalent to 35%, if you calculate on the profit margin.
I had not calculated.
No, we can calculate that rate, but it's not certainly 35%. But Madam Speaker, I said, as we move towards the committee of the whole house, we shall come up with some reasonable proposal of percentage, not to undermine the effort. Maybe something that is similar to what we have put on the fish maw can work, rather than the 20% is on the higher side.
Okay, honourable members, we have moved from a situation where there was tax avoidance and tax evasion. We have now started capturing the taxpayers in this industry. So I think let us move steadily, but not to frighten. Let us move progressively. We have gone from zero. Let's get somewhere and start climbing, but to climb progressively. Honourable members, I put the question we put. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. I put the question that the mining amendment will be read for a second time. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Let's go to committee stage.
The Mining Amendment Bill 2021, Bills Committee stage. Clause 1.
Honourable members, put the question that clause, I think clause 1 to stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. I have it.
Clause 2.
Honourable Chair, clause 2. Honourable Chair, clause 2.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. We have amendment on clause 2 of the Act of 2003. Clause 2 is amended. A, in the proposed section 116A1 by substituting for the words United States dollars 200 per kilogram, not 2 million as somebody had earlier stated, the words 5% of the value of a kilogram. And B, in the proposed section 116B, by substituting for the words 1%, the phrase 2.5, the committee is suggesting 2.5. Justification, Madam Speaker, processed gold and unprocessed minerals are valuable exports that require to be mainstreamed as major government revenue sources. I beg to submit.
Madam Chair, I thought the chair had conceded on for the unprocessed because we had agreed. Okay, I shared with him, but it seems she had not agreed with me. Madam Chair, we need to encourage the value addition. And if we put unprocessed gold at a lower rate, then that means we are encouraging that business. Madam Chair, I propose that for the processed gold, 5% to me it is okay, but then for the unprocessed one, we push it to 10%. I thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I would invite the House to reject the proposal from the committee because the original bill had proposed $200 US, which is about 700,000. The 5% comes to less than 100,000 shillings, Uganda shillings. The 5% on the process. No, it comes to, because it's the margin. So for me, I think rather than now lower it to 5%, which if you charge on the profit margin, it's just under 100,000, we better go by the 200 unless the minister gives us clear revenue target, because this bill was supposed to raise some amount of money. If the committee is going to propose that and it's going to be less, then the minister should explain us where else he's going to get the money from.
Honorable Kakoza.
Madam Chair, I think it's because ministers and people who are making these tax policies have not followed up your guideline, your guidance, whenever we are debating tax bills. Because for ministers could have come with statistics and they could have compared what they want to charge. If you say that the current rate of gold a kilogram international market is about 205 million, 0.6. 5% of that, that's about a profit, is about 10 million. But the current gold rate today in Uganda is about 203 million. The difference is about 3 million and something. So now, if we have statistics and you are charging 5% of the value, then the man cannot be in the business. So the only way is to estimate and say, if we are getting 2 to 3 million, let me charge you that I get away with $700,200 at the current exchange rate. By the way, that's why gold is stable in the market for a long time. That's why people reserve gold in the market, because it's stable, it can't change a lot, and that's why people prefer to keep gold, not buying dollars. Because this gold is sold in dollars, it's not sold in local market or something. But today you've seen the difference. The profit margin is about 3 million. You charge 5%, how much am I going to get in that business? It becomes too much. I think Minister of Finance, always when we come and say, please come with statistics, make your policies proper. It makes Parliament not to suffer. I think I can prefer that what we had proposed in the budget, 5% of 2 million, of 3 million, is not much. It's equivalent to about 800, 700. Because you target the profit margin, you don't target the value of it. This is what I would like to chip in, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Ndugwa, but these are all committee members. But these are committee members. Can we hear from others? Otieno Senyonga.
Right, Madam Chair. I think Honorable Kakoza should help us here. The information he's giving is not correct and accurate. He's giving an impression that the difference between the prices here in Uganda and in the somewhere in UK, there's a margin of 3 million, which is not correct. What we are saying, the international price of processed gold is actually on average $57,000 per kilogram. It doesn't matter whether that person selling is in Kampala here or is in the UK. The price is the same. So when he starts now creating an impression that if you sell here, Uganda, again, you sell somewhere and you get a difference of 3, that's being diversionary. It's very unfortunate. The thing is, what we are saying, if this gold is a property of the whole country, and you're now kicking out all Ugandans, and you're saying let only one person or 2 or 3, a cartel of a few individuals, be the ones to charge, how will the rest of the 41 million Ugandans which were referred to in that letter, how are they going to benefit from this resource? That's what we are saying here. That's why you are saying, you charge this resource, the money, what I expected from Honorable Kakoza and committee to tell us the production cost. That's what you'd have come and said, no, I know you don't have it. You don't have it. I'm okay. So what we would have, your argument would have been stronger if you had come out that say, in order to earn this 205 million, because that's at an exchange rate of 3,600 on 57,000 US dollars, that's when you get 205 million Uganda shillings. What I would have expected to make a stronger argument was if you had come up and said, look, In the process of getting 205 million, you spend this amount of money. So this is where the margin comes in. But right now, the way things stand now, for me, I would propose that we go with the 15% on processed gold to benefit Ugandans, and then 10% on unprocessed gold. So that this thing now benefits the 41% who have been kicked out in that letter. I beg to submit.
Now, honourable members, of course, we all want to raise money for the country, but I think if we make proposals which we have not tested, we haven't tried them, why don't we agree to move steadily? Next year, we can amend the Mining Act to increase the taxes, Let us not shock the industry.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Right, Honorable Speaker, the argument that the investors will not be breathing. All of us in business are not breathing. All over the world, we are paying taxes through nose, through sweat. But, Honorable Speaker, it will be very unfair for this House to sit here after having known that many of our Ugandans are going to be out of that business. And we continue babysitting in taxing those ones who are coming to an extent of saying 5%. Because even if they are charged 10%, that's at least reasonable. So that even the locals can know that the outcome is going to add value to their country in service delivery. But saying 5%, well, Honorable Speaker, the people who are dealing that business, even if you see the few mafias in Kampala, are billionaires. They are enjoying this free trade where they are charged bukunkumukwa, like His Excellency stated.
Minister, please, we need to move.
Madam Speaker, as you have stated, we don't need to, it's important, and I think now we have put everybody in this business. We can now see them because of the setting up of a refinery, but it's important that we don't shock the business. Because, as I said, we're importing millions of dollars worth of gold before the refinery. But as we speak now, because of a refinery in place, we are exporting billions, providing jobs and other things. And we are not an island, as the Honorable Saida Bumba said. If you overtax, the investor can go somewhere else. There's no guarantee that you remain here. So I think the proposal of the committee of 5% on the processed, because we are sure of them and we are encouraging them in the beginning, is okay. Where we can adjust, Madam Speaker, would be on unprocessed, because we want all these people who are dealing in gold to process, put them in a system and process gold. So we get all the advantages of processing. So if we can increase that from maybe 2.5% to 8% unprocessed, that would be fair and balance the equation, Madam Speaker.
So you're proposing that for the process to start with the 5%?
Yes.
But then process to raise to 8%?
Yes. I know Honorable Sechkubo might be talking about, because in the process, we want all the gold we have here to add value to it. That's the point. We don't want people to smuggle. We want every mineral that
it should be a deterrent.
Yeah, it should be a deterrent. Yes. Yeah.
Another perspective, Chair.
Which one?
Honorable Sechkubo?
Chair, the perspective I wanted the Honorable Minister to take into consideration. When you talk about the unprocessed gold, you are talking about your Ugandans. And those ones you say they should be paying high rate of 8%. And for the processed, those are known. It's only one plant at Entebbe, and we know who are behind that. So to that extent, right, Chair, I would propose the unprocessed as a tax measure can come to the 5%, but for the processed can go to 10%. Because to that extent, you'll be doing equity to all. Instead of one entity who are the processors at Entebbe getting away with it, please, please. It is the only one SMET, it is only one entity, it's only one monopoly that is involved in processing of this gold. Not anybody. If you can mention only 2 processors, I would concede. But if it remains one, better concede to that as well.
Madam Chair, according to the statistics we have, the cost per kilo of processed gold is now at 59,000, meaning that 5% of that on every gold, every kilo of gold, you are paying close to 3,000 shillings, dollars, 3,000. Every kilo of processed gold, 3,000. You can see that if you're in that business, 3,000 out of every 60,000 is really a reasonable amount of tax that we are paying. I don't want to agree with Sechkubo that Ugandans are condemned to always be in unprocessed, that we cannot organize ourselves and also set up a refinery. That's why we're aspiring, and we must discourage unprocessed more than processed. So we can organize Ugandans when they are discouraged from dealing in unprocessed, then we can arrange them. That's why we are putting even money in Uganda Development Bank so that they can access money and become industrialists. So the argument that Ugandans were condemned, that for them they will never be in the refinery by the honorable leader from Gwemiaga, it should also be rejected. I thank you.
Madam Chair, the whole issue here is not about protecting Ugandans. Whether you are a Ugandan, whether you are a Congolese, whether you are a Rwandese, but the issue here is value addition. So, Madam Chair, that's why I'm proposing and I'm supporting the rise of the unprocessed, the increase from 2.5 to probably 10%. To encourage the value addition, such that we can really promote this industry.
No, members, I want to look at a practical example. I'm a friend of the artisanal miners of Uweju, and when I met them, they told me that one of their plans is to go into processing. How would this tax affect the artisanal miners of Uweju? Just, if you can, how would it affect them?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I think the ministry did us a disservice. They should be clear. If you are proposing, let's say $200, on what? What was the tax base? And I assume the tax base is the profit margin, which we rate about 3 million. So when you propose, like I've had, when you propose, our interest is to increase from $200 upwards. When you propose, let's say 10% of the profit margin, which is 3 million, you're actually going downwards, and actually you're going to 300,000. So if the profit today, according to what is on stock, is let's say 3 million, for you to get above the $200, which is, then you must be at 35. But 35 not of the value, but 35% of the profit. Then it can't be, if you go for 10, you're actually going far much below for $200. Unless Honorable Minister says, are you taxing value? If it is value, then 10% of today's value, which is 205 million per kilo, then 10% is 25 million. So where are you going to get it?
So what do you propose? You know, Now you have left us in the air.
My proposal, Madam Speaker, if we are targeting $300, then probably this one we shouldn't actually go to
Or do we need
percentages.
time to reflect on it? Can we give ourselves a few more? We stand over it for now, what we think? Because each side is attractive. Now I don't know where to go.
To correct the Honorable Migade, if you look at what we had proposed in the bill, we had proposed that there shall be charged the levy on processed gold at the rate of United States 200 per kilogram, which is exported out of Uganda. So it was 200 US dollars per kilogram exported out of Uganda. The committee has proposed 5%. So 200 then is 200 is less than the 5%. And that's why we have accepted the proposal of the committee, because now the value of gold exported per kilogram is 59,000 US dollars. 5% of that is 3,000, close to 3,000. So the percentage fetches us higher money than the amount that we had proposed. And that's why we accepted the proposal of the committee. So the other figures of profit of what I don't understand them, we are charging per kilogram of gold exported. Yes.
So, Minister, we are staying with the 5 for the processed and the unprocessed?
That's fine. 10 is okay.
10. Okay, the members, I put the question that clause 2 be amended variously as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 2 as amended.
Put the question that clause 2 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
The title.
Put the question, the title do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Motion for the House to resume.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the House do resume and the committee of the whole House reports thereto.
Members, I put the question that the House do resume and the committee of the whole House report thereto. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Report from the committee of the whole House.
Madam Speaker, I beg to report that the committee of the whole House has considered a bill entitled the Mining Amendment Bill 2021 and passed it with amendments.
Motion for adoption.
Motion for adoption of the report from the committee of the whole House.
Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the report from the committee of the whole House be adopted.
Now, members, I put the question that the report of the committee of the whole House be adopted. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Bills committee stage. Bills third reading.
Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the bill entitled the Mining Amendment Bill 2021 be read the third time and do pass.
Now, members, I put the question that the mining amendment will be read for third time and do pass. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
A bill for an act entitled the Mining Amendment Bill 2021.
Title settled and bill passes. Now, members, I know it is late, but maybe we should first take up the income tax bill and close the revenue bills before we break. Let's go back to the income tax amendment bill.
Item 5 on the order paper. Bill second reading. The Income Tax Amendment Bill 2021.
Can we ask the minister to report because you had gone for consultations?
So, Madam Speaker, after consultations with the technical team and the members of that move the minority report, we are proposing that we consider the views by the Honorable Migade by one, moving that we amend clause 5, amendment of section 22 of the Principal Act. Section 22 of the Principal Act is amended in subsection 1 by I see that in case of the rental income, 70% of the rental income as expenditures and losses incurred by a person in production of income subject to verification by URA. And then the second one, cater for the local governments, inserting immediately after paragraph F, the following subject paragraph C of the local government rates paid under section 3 of the Local Government Rating Act 2005. So that will cater for the concerns raised by Honorable Mugade and also the consensus that we had built about 70% as long as we subject this to local government. That was his proposal, and that's what we have taken.
Yes.
I don't know why the minister doesn't want the drafting of the law. You see what is in the income tax. If you want to exempt with any other relevant laws, what you want to do, you say notwithstanding, because you're exempting. If we are saying that in case of rental income, notwithstanding other relevant laws, 70% of the rental income as expenditure and losses incurred by person in the production of such an income, you don't need that local government act. That's how they draft laws. But when you say that you insert a new clause, that means you are still maintaining the local government. But here your intention is that you don't want to subject a gross. That should be the harmonization. But when you include the local government act, you are still charging property tax and still you are charging the rental income on the same property. So say do away with one and you remain with one. That's the collective drafting.
No, but you see, Honorable Kakoza, this matter, the speaker referred it to the technical people, and we have people who are involved in legislation. We have people who draft, and they have captured, they have captured the spirit of what Migade was saying. They have captured the spirit that once you tax at 70%, then you should not have double of the rates, and that's what they have captured. That's the spirit they have captured. So our acting Attorney General looked at it. He captured the spirit of the.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I thank the minister, and the minister was frank. He actually called me, said let's agree at 70% allowable, and we do away with. That was his proposal a few minutes, and we do away with the property tax. And he said no problem. And the way he's bringing it is now using other jargons to actually seem like he's maintaining. So maybe for purposes of record, the minister should be clear and say, Honorable Minister, are we doing away with the property tax so that it's very clear? Even then we find a way how we phrase it.
Madam Speaker, you recall that Honorable Migade came to this house with a proposal. And that's why the Speaker has always insisted that when you come to this house with a proposal, bringing a proposal on the floor of the house is problematic. So, Madam Speaker, we are proposing that we go with a proposal which he had come up with and leave out the issue of local government rating, because he seemed not to be understanding what we we are proposing, which actually is in line with what you wanted. But we don't want to mix up things now since we are handling it on the floor of the House in case we don't want to make any mistake.
So, Madam Speaker, for purposes of record, I want to thank the Honorable Minister for accepting our proposal of increasing the allowable deduction from 60% as he had proposed to 75%, which means 25% is the one which will be available for taxation. The other laws withstanding. Thank you very much.
So is that now the position, Chair of the committee?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I agree with the position the minister is taking, and also I believe Honorable Migade is comfortable with the idea of the 75%. And Right Honorable Speaker, from the arguments Honorable Migade is making, as if he's trying to suggest that we amend the Local Government Act using the income tax bill. And Madam Speaker, while scrutinizing the bill, this was not thought about. I want to appeal to the House that we restrict ourselves from introducing new things at this stage, Madam Speaker, and also we concede to the minority report that we take the 75%.
Okay. Honourable members, I put the question, that the question be put. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. I have it now put the question that income tax amendment bill be read for second time. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. I have it.
The Income Tax Amendment Bill 2021, Bills Committee stage. Clause 1.
Members, I put the question that clause 1 to stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. I have it.
Clause 2.
Put the question, clause 2, Honorable Chair.
Right Honorable Chair, we propose to amend clause 2 as follows. Clause 2 is amended by substituting for paragraph A the following. A, by substituting for the definition of beneficial owner the following. EA, beneficial owner. A means a natural person who has final ownership or control of another person, or a natural person on whose behalf a transaction is conducted, and includes a natural person who exercises absolute control over a legal person. Justification: to remove the ambiguity brought about by the distinction in the definition of reference to natural and legal person. I beg to move.
Members, put the question that clause 2 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. I have it.
Clause 2 as amended.
Question is that clause 2 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. I have it.
Clause 3.
Honorable Chair, clause 3. Division.
Madam Chair, we propose that clause 3 be deleted.
Now, members,
Justification is that the proposal is contrary to the accounting principles and is bound to present administrative difficulties, since taxpayers shall have to develop policies for apportioning common expenses for each property. I submit.
Members, the question is that clause 3 be deleted. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 4.
Clause 4, Honorable Chair.
We propose that clause 4 be amended by deleting paragraph C. Justification: there is need to further study the various tax exemptions or incentives to be given to various investors to achieve certainty and predictability in doing business. I submit.
Honourable members, I put the question that clause 4 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 4 as amended.
Question that clause 4 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 5.
Put the question that clause 5 do
Madam
stand.
Chair, clause 5.
5, Honourable Chair.
We propose to amend clause 5 as follows. Section 22 of the Principal Act is amended in subsection 1 by substituting for paragraph C the following. In case of rental income, 75% of the rental income as expenditure and losses incurred by a person in the production of such income, subject to verification by URA. I submit.
Thank you very much, honourable members. We have already agreed with that one. I put the question that clause 5 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 5 as amended.
Question that clause 5 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 6.
Put the question that clause 6 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 7.
Put the question that clause 7 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 8.
Put the question that clause 8 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 9.
Put the question that clause 9 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 10.
Put the question that clause 10 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 11.
Put the question that clause 11 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 12.
Clause 12, Honourable Chair.
Madam Chair, we propose that clause 12 be amended by adding a new subsection 4C immediately after the proposed subsection 4B. 4C, notwithstanding subsection 4, a refund shall be paid by the commissioner to a taxpayer within a period of 6 months from the date on which the application by the taxpayer is received by the commissioner. I submit.
I put the question that clause 12 be amended as proposed. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 12 as amended.
Question is that clause 12 as amended do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 13.
Put the question that clause 13.
Madam
You have
Chair.
an amendment?
Yes. Madam Chair, we propose to delete clause 13, and the justification is that the provision gives the commissioner wide discretion to decide on whom withholding tax may not apply. I submit.
Members, I put the question that clause 13 be deleted. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 14.
Put the question that clause 14 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 15.
Put the question that clause 15 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Clause 16.
Put the question clause 16 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
The title.
Put the question that the title do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Motion for the House to resume.
Honorable Minister.
Madam Chair, I beg to move that the House to move a motion that the House bill resume and the committee of the whole House reports thereto.
Honourable members, the questions that the House will resume and the committee of the whole House will report thereto. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Report from the committee of the whole House.
Honourable Minister.
Madam Speaker, I beg to report that the committee of the whole House has considered the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2021 and passed it with amendments.
Motion for adoption.
Motion for adoption of the report from the committee of the whole House.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the report from the committee of the whole House be adopted.
Honourable members, I put the question that the report of the committee of the whole House be adopted. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
Bill third reading.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2021 be read the third time and do pass.
Honourable members, the question is that the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2021 be read for the third time and do pass. Those in favor say aye, the contrary no. Ayes have it.
A bill for an act entitled the Income Tax Amendment Bill 2021.
Title settled and bill passes.
Madam Speaker, I beg to lay on the table the minutes of the committee and also the copies of original reports. I beg to lay.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chair and members of the Committee on Finance for finally handling the revenue generating. Yes, Minister.
Madam Speaker, I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you and thank the members for this patriotic duty of passing the tax measures. And the measures that were proposed will, if well implemented, generate over 600 billion that will support our expenditures. And on the expenditure side, if we can also support the Uganda Revenue Authority to recruit enough staff and more equipment, we think that we'll be able to raise the 21 trillion that we are looking for in the financial 2021-22 to implement the NRM manifesto. I thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay. Yes, Honourable Kakoza.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. First of all, I want to thank you. Really, this is a caution or what you've been advising to the Minister of Finance. It's because you have experience when you sit there, you guide and but Minister of Finance, please make a research, correct data for ease of any members of parliament to know what they are going to legislate on. It's really quite very important that when you come out with the research, with the data, it is the work of parliament. Really, we've been requesting for them to do it every tax measures, but they don't want to pay heed. I think the next parliament should take it seriously. That really, for the proposals of tax measures, they must be researched so that we avoid necessary delays on the House. Because it's really funny for parliament, you bring bills, 2 bills, 3 bills, and they are rejected in the House. Really, it means that really you are not taking much interest in what you want to do. And it eases work and it harmonizes the position, because I don't want to look as if we members of parliament, we don't want to pay taxes. We are always, they bring bills, we reject them. I think it's not a good coordination. But I want to thank you seriously that because you've been around for some time, you do guide well. And if they listen to that, I don't think we shall have any other more problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Kakoza and all the members of the House. Honourable members, we need to take a break because we still have work on the other paper. So House will reconvene at 4:30. Thank you very much. House suspended 4:30 p.m.